are bothering your mind and the things that would inform your choice come December 7, 2024, when we go to the polls to elect a new president as well as parliamentarians for the various constituencies. Good morning once again and welcome to our show. We are live on social media, on Facebook and on X as well as on YouTube. So do join us there. And if you're leaving the house for the office, do not worry at all. We are live, so you can carry us along on your phones. Now, this morning we'll also have a very interesting, intriguing conversation. We had one earlier with Miracles Abwaje from the NPP. Today we'll be sitting with Malik Basintale to get to know the NDC's perspective also on the manifesto promises of the NPP, as well as what to expect come Saturday when the NDC also goes to the central region to launch its manifesto. We'll dissect the issues here for you and we'll make sure that you are a big part of the show. Remember to get interactive with us on social media. But let's check out the quote for today. He says, do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. Do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. Do not wait for the opportunities to present themselves. Create those opportunities for yourself. Take advantage of situations to better your lot. And if you're continuously waiting for the iron to be hot before you strike, perhaps you might miss it. So do not wait to strike till the iron is hot, but make it hot by striking. William Butler here there. All right, so that's the quote of the day. But now let's get to know exactly the word for the day, because every morning we help you improve your grammar. Every morning we make you learn a new word. So let's check out the word for the day.
Our word of the day is beatific.
Beatific.
It means having a peaceful and calm expression, showing great joy. Our example is Yofi always wears a beatific smile, even when he is frustrated.
Beatific.
And that example it couldn't get any better. Yofi always was a beatific smile, even when we have the likes of, I'll mention names, disturbing him and getting him frustrated. But that's the word for the day. And so be sure or make sure you use this word in your expression today. And that's how you better your grammar. That's what we do here on the show every single morning when you wake up to the best breakfast show in Ghana. But now let's ease into the day with our video of the day. It's from way back. I mean, Tofe by Castro the Destroyer released somewhere in 2004. So they're talking about 20 years old, older than a lot of young people these days. But of course, it's timeless. And so on a Thursday like this, what better way to make you relive those nostalgic moments than to bring you this one from Castro the Destroyer. Now you're still watching GA Today right here on GHOne television. We'll get into my take for this morning. Right, so on Inside Out this morning, like I told you earlier, we're live in the Ablekuma North constituency with Voters Connect, and it's one of the segments that you cannot afford to miss as we get into the election period, as we get to the December 7 polls. And so one critical thing that we need to also understand is that Voters Connect is for you, it's by you, and it's obviously because we want you to have a say in the governance structure. We are giving your voice to the politicians to get to know exactly what your requests are, what are the teething issues in your constituency. And so we're starting from the Ablekuma North constituency at 8:30 a.m. We'll be crossing there live. My colleague Sewami here will be on the grounds to interact with the people there to get to know exactly what their thoughts are. But my colleague Obed Kingaglo has captured the situation in the constituency in this report. Let's view it, let's watch it. We'll come and have a conversation on that shortly.
The Ablekuma North constituency has been in existence since 1992. Areas under the jurisdiction of Ablekuma North include Kwashiman, Odoko, Dakuman Kokompe, Nyamiche, and parts of Dansoman. It has been a stronghold of the MPP since 1996. Kwame Battles has been the constituency's longest serving MP until 2008, when Justice Joe Appiah took over from him and later defeated Ras Mubarak of the NDC in 2012. In 2016, Nana Ekuya Owusu-Efriye represented the MPP in Parliament, but subsequently lost to Sheila Battles, the daughter of Kwame Battles, during the MPP primaries for the 2020 parliamentary elections, and is currently the MP for the area. But here is the interesting twist of events. Nana Ekuya Owusu-Efriye, who lost to the incumbent MP Sheila Battles, has staged a strong comeback by beating Sheila Battles in the MPP primaries to be the parliamentary candidate for the 2024 elections. Though the MPP has dominated the political landscape in the area, some constituents who spoke to the news team say they're unhappy with the performance of the MPP. Some taxi drivers at the Kwashima taxi station in an interview served notice that they will not vote for the MPP this time round because they believe the MPP have taken constituents for granted. They cited poor roads and many other unfulfilled promises.
Chese obe promise e taxi station ha ye committee ya oba meeting ase odi e mekasa e no obisa ye how ye ka how nyina kire no, including road ya e da high apikis road ya ko top ye omu ba be omu promise ya e no omu di sapiti be kusu road na da wache oba ye no ye ka kire ni say ye road we ani ye how a den e high en pipe say ufi akra na wo ba traffic tia o ho na ye den ye doji fa wait me anya road na my omu be promise no omu promise no e no omu ye den omu be gu sa road the way so e di be dadai
the baby wini ba bibi akoso so kwasi bu kwani na mani na anya obi go for the people kwasi bu ye enko because kwani na anya a center inside any room any ban ya kwani nya what I say but you MPP ena etisu de bia ye bre What I say,
The parliamentary seats for the 2024 elections in the Ablekuma North constituency will be keenly contested by the MPP's Nana Ekuawusu-Efriye and the NDC's Irabna Obin, who are matching each other boot for boot with billboards scattered at vantage points in the constituency. In an interview with the NDC's parliamentary candidates, Irabna Obin called out the MPP for turning a blind eye to the plight of constituents and described their track record as abysmal.
Cast your mind back, years back, the constituency hasn't progressed or it hasn't improved. Nothing seems to be better. Ablekuma North constituency is a problematic one. Yes, the other party, that is the inconsiderate NPP, has been in power for nearly 30 years. Nothing works. Nothing works in this constituency. Look at our road networks. And so if MPP has been in power for nearly 30 years and we have nothing useful to boast about, then your guess should be as good as mine.
Although the news team engaged the MP parliamentary candidate for an interview, the attempt proved unsuccessful. With over 30,000 votes difference between the NDC and the MPP in the 2020 elections, can the NDC bridge this gap and possibly win the Ablekuma North seat for the first time? Well, 7 December is just around the corner. Reporting for GHOne News, Obed Kingaglo, Ablekuma North.
All right, so that's the situation in Ablekuma North, and primarily the key concern there would have to be the nature of the road networks in the area. A similar situation in other parts of the country. So if you are around Kwashiman, Odoko, Dakuman, Kukumpe areas, and you want to have your voice heard, let me quickly direct you to where we are having Voters Connect this morning. It's at the 37 building, that's around Kwashiman, opposite the Trinity Congregation of the Presbyterian Church. The Trinity Presbyterian Church, that is where we are having Voters Connect. Once you get to the area in Kwashiman, you're definitely going to see banners, everything that shows that we are in the area. So I'm here will be there at 8:30 a.m. So if your concerns are similar to those shared, or you have varied concerns from what those in that report shared, please make your way to the 37 building, Kwashiman, opposite the Trinity Presbyterian Church, and then we would have the opportunity to share your concerns from 8:30 a.m. on the dot. We are in your constituency with Voters Connect. So please do make your way there, and let's get to hear from you on the teething issues that will inform your choice in the December 7 general elections. And that's it for Inside Out this morning. Check out the newspaper headlines this morning, and my first paper here, the Daily Graphic, banner headline: Cocoa Board breaks 32-year loan cycle, buys 2024-2025 season cocoa with own funds, and it comes with a picture of the chief executive of Cocoa Board, Joseph Boahen Edu. Then there's also drought, 1.18 billion agric investment in danger, and that's a very worrying story because of the predictions from the Ghana Meteorological Agency. We're being told that we should expect longer periods of no rainfall, especially from the middle to the northern belts, and you know that basically the food basket of the country. And so there's a warning here that we might lose an agricultural investment to the total of 1.18 billion as a result of that particular situation. Then there's also deterioration of petroleum revenue funded projects worrying. That's according to Nana Kwekude. And then Get Fund completes over 3,000 projects. It comes to the administrator's picture, Dr. Richard Ampofu Bwedu, all on the front page of the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning. On the back page, we also have GHOne rolls out new technology to transform agriculture. So while there are issues surrounding the drought that we are supposed to expect in the middle and northern belts, there's also GHOne, the Atomic Energy Commission, also rolling out some new technology to transform agriculture on the back page of the Daily Graphic newspaper this morning. Let's check out the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Torrential rains Palmel Boko ravaged over 20 communities and raised numerous farmlands. So there's quite some challenges when it comes to agriculture as a result of the weather patterns and all. And it's also because of what we have decided to do to our climate, and now we have to suffer the brunt. Don't declare results of December 7 polls, Peace Council cautions media. Then there's also dialysis service now available at Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. Dr. Bernard Okoboy, Minister of Health, has his picture on the front page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper. And then Kokobot to finance being purchased for 2024-2025 season locally. On the back page, no room for delay, extension of secondary cities project. That's according to the local government minister. And then Ifyan Kwanta Hospital rehabilitation progresses steadily, also on the back page of the Ghanaian Times. Let me take you to the Chronicle this morning. It says Bono grabs 99 drip machines, and we're talking about the road improvement program, the district road improvement program DRIP, which was launched somewhere a few weeks ago. We are told that now the various districts are taking delivery of their machines, 99 machines sent to the Bono region. Then there's also the 3 million Africa Games cash controversy. GBC boss fires, minister responds. Will Professor Hassan hit back again? That's the question being asked on the front page of the Chronicle newspaper. Then there's also Napo touts credentials of Baumia Ahafo Anot North PC. And then Malcolm Mons, late Godwin Avenogbo, veteran broadcaster. He used to be the director of radio for GBC. He passed on a couple of days ago. Then there's Tonto Chrome Asanko gold impasse will be solved, according to George Mreku Duka then. And the Bible quote for this morning on the front page of the Chronicle, Romans chapter 14 verse 12. So then, each of us will give an account of ourselves to God. Each of us will give an account of ourselves to God on the day of reckoning. They have some sports stories also on the back page this morning. The New Crusading Guide is next. Napo rallies support for Baumia, endorses Ahafo North MP, and there's also Merkuduka hailed over TNA Stadium, urges mine companies to support Takwa Airport project. There's also FD operates to protect public interest, not to destroy individual businesses, according to Mimi Delise on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Then there's also structural defects hampering health delivery at Damfa Health Center, and court jails farmer over verbal threats. Reshaping of community roads under drip loadable. That's also on the front page of the New Crusading Guide. Let me move on quickly to the Daily Dispatch newspaper this morning. No president can compel businesses to operate beyond their hours if there is no demand. Manasseh on Mohammed's 24-hour economy. And we have made progress in energy, education and other sectors with our 2016 and 2020 manifestos, according to the vice presidential candidate of the NPP, Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. Then there's also a picture of Dr. Abdul Hamid Mustafa, who is NPA boss, saying cylinder recirculation model to eliminate cheating at filling stations. That's according to the NPA. And Baumia proposed abolishment of e-levy, but cabinet shut it down. That's according to Dr. Baumia's aide, as captured on the front page of the Daily Dispatch. Okay, so the Daily Statesman is next. It says, let's support Baumia Napo ticket. It's Agbo Agogo Manhene appeals to electorate, and Tepa Manhene Napo is our true son. Then there's also 36 communities connected to National Grid in Myong, and it comes to the picture of the MP Musa Abdulaziz. FDA to appeal to Binko case. Okay. Next, NPP government targets 1 million high-tech jobs, and there's also government firm on resolving Tontokro mining disputes, all on the front page of the Daily Statesman. Well, there are also some sports stories on the back page for your perusal. The Daily Post is next. Security experts backs NDC's condition for 2024 peace accord. And you know, that's coming on the back of the comments made by the chairman of the NDC that they would not sign a peace pact until other relevant agencies, including the security agencies, sign. And that's what was captured on the front page of the Daily Post newspaper. There's also Cocobod isn't borrowing from foreign banks because it's not credit worthy, according to the minority. And African Games money brouhaha, somebody is not being honest with the public. That's according to Ningo Prampram MP Sam George Nate. Then the Insight is my final paper this morning. Police accused of aiding encroachment against court order and judgment. Then chaos awaits Ghana polls. ECOWAS mission predicts overconduct of EC, judiciary, police, and others. And there's also, I will be next president of Ghana, says Bernard Mona as he files nomination to contest flag bearer race of PNC. And Tang Swag as Adibiawe clan chief is fingered over goat theft at Big Adan. And Otubo Jang Kwesi II breaks ground for construction of ultra-modern police station in Ibri, all on the front page of the Inside newspaper this morning. So be sure to get to the newsstands and then get a copy of your favorite newspaper to be able to get details of these stories and more. Well, that's it for the newspaper review segment. Some 15 minutes past 7 a.m. right here on GH Today on GHOne television, and it's time to zoom into our breakfast review segment. Well, thank you so much for staying on with us. And this morning, my guest is already seated. We'll be delving into issues of national interest. And you all know that on Sunday, the NPP launched their manifesto, telling us exactly what they intend doing if given the nod to govern from 2025. And the NDC will also be launching their manifesto on Saturday, the 24th of August, in the Central Region. And there are a lot of issues that have arisen from the NPP's manifesto launch. We are hearing so much in terms of exactly what Dr. Bawumia will do. People are asking questions as to why he's not done them yet. And some new promises have also been made. I mean, by end of this year, in December, we are expecting some 100 electric buses. And that's, according to the manifesto, is to deal with the increasing cost of public transport in the country. As to how that is going to happen, in the coming days, we'll get to dissect all of those nuances. But my guest here this morning is Deputy National Communications Officer for the National Democratic Congress, Malik Basintale. Malik, welcome.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm great. I'm keeping up. It's not been easy, and I always repeat that anytime I say things like this, people say, "Oh, I was only greeted," and then I had to say it. But
you had to over-respond.
That's the only opportunity I'll get to share in the plights of many Ghanaians who are watching us this morning. And sometimes I believe that the comments I make actually save a lot of people from even committing suicide. There are people who are watching us this morning who have lost hope, and they've woken up this morning again to a very hopeless economy, to a very hopeless leadership, and at the thought of even remembering that Akufo-Addo and Bawumia are still at the helm of affairs, that alone deters them from even stepping out and thinking of doing something on the streets. Because today, even if you are gainfully employed, it is as though you are not employed. And the last time I said, a lot of the jobs we do today are what we call pakokpa jobs. Because you go to work 30 days in a month, they pay you a salary, and within 1 week, that salary has been consumed. Today, the youth out there watching will confirm to me that indeed, if you want to even send mobile money to someone, and you don't ask the person which number you should send it to, and you make a mistake and send it to the person's number, you will regret, because you will be paying the debt somebody is owing for 2 months, and you would have to send new money again to that particular person. Many youth out there are in crisis. Many youth out there are struggling. Breakfast today, the average breakfast today costs no less than 30 Ghana cedi. A young man here who is traveling from Medina to Accra to work will spend no less than 20 Ghana cedis in and about 20 Ghana cedis out again. 40 cedis. Those days, anytime I had transport fares of 10 cedis, I used to know that it was Uber or taxi dropping. Today, some trotro fares go as high as 20 Ghana cedis. That is abnormal in our society.
And that's why the NPP government, Dr. Bawumia, is saying that, well, we've listened to the plight of Ghanaians. We've realized that this is the challenge. And so to mitigate that, specifically cost of transport, you're bringing in some new buses, electric buses, by December. This is not next year.
The only way we can reduce cost of living in this country is to vote out the problem of the country. The problem is Alhaji Bawumia, and he doesn't even understand that he's the problem. If he did understand that he were the problem, it would have been better for us, and Ghanaians would have had a soft spot to even listen to him. But at this point, he doesn't understand that he himself is entirely clueless. He doesn't understand that he's entirely visionless. He doesn't understand that he's totally bereft of ideas, and he doesn't even understand that he is the liar, the chief liar of this country. And you cannot run a country with dishonesty, with irresponsibility, and with the state at which they are recklessly, mismanaging everything in the economy. So that panacea, yes, nobody has said the electric corridor is not the way to go. 2 days ago, you saw President Mahama driving an electric car. He was trying it. But people know that when it's got to do with innovation, when it's got to do with prudent management, then it's got to do with President Mahama. But if you want somebody who would say one thing and do another, who would lie, why? Bawumia has a history of saying that he was going to give even Okada riders free cars, and you exchange your motorbike for an Uber. You remember?
The Koda vehicle. vehicles.
The quota vehicles. What happened to that policy?
So they started with some 200.
They brought about 10 or is it 15 and gave to their youth organizers. No Okada person in this country got a single one. And if you want to bring Okada people into the studio and ask them, he simply lied in 2020. They told us they were going to bring sky trains. You remember? And we see what saddens my heart in that particular policy is that more than $2 million was already paid to the contractor. And at the end of the day, they said that particular policy cannot be implemented. Yet, you have already paid money. So anywhere you hear Alhaji Bawumia mentioning a policy, it means that there's an avenue to siphon money. There's an avenue to dupe the state. And they would always implement things that will become non-status. Yet, they will dole out monies and pay for those particular projects. You should tell us what happened to the Sky Train system. What happened to it? They told us it was going to be a means of transport. Even the Ayalolo buses President Mahama brought, they grounded them. Go to Achimota, the station. Sometimes when I look at them, I become so teary that people are struggling with transportation in this country. Yet as a result of your wickedness and your selfishness, you have grounded buses your predecessor brought, all in the name of politics. Kodjo, why do we do this to ourselves? I mean, as young people, I think we must change the narrative. Let's try and help our generation. The older generation have admitted that as a result of very reckless and wicked ones like Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, their generation have failed and they declare themselves that yes, they have not been able to live up to tax. But Dr. Bawumia, unfortunately, they had leaders like Akufo-Addo, they had Bawumia as part of their generation. And those two people have spoiled Port San in their gari. But you and I must take the mantle and let's strive to create a difference for the next generation of youth in this country.
But Dr. Bawumia says that, you know what, I've heard your plight. In fact, I have had over 7 years to study the economy of Ghana, know how the dynamics go. And so I'm better placed now to be able to steer the affairs of the country going into the future.
So the first question you must ask him is, what is his solution to the problems we currently find ourselves in? In fact, what are the solutions to the problems he caused for this particular country? If you want to realize that Bawumia is totally bereft of ideas, listen to his campaigns. He has 3 messages. He says, vote for me because I'm a Muslim. He said, vote for me because I'm a northerner. Now, the new message is that vote for me because I'm a brand new president and I'm not a home use president. Look at such a character.
But are we not majoring on the minors then? Because he presented a manifesto telling us exactly why he should vote for.
So tell me one peculiar problem that his manifesto solves. Tell me, I'm sitting here. Give me one policy that his manifesto seeks to solve. Tell me. I mean,
he's talked about digitalization.
Is that the solution to which problem?
Yeah, he's talking about how the world is going. We need to get digitalized. For which reason? That would also build the economy.
My brother,
we'll join other countries that are doing so well.
The biggest challenge we have in this country now is unemployment, whether you like it or not. I have repeatedly said that you don't create solutions to non-existent problems. When you do that, the solution will become a problem in the long run. We were in this country when they said they were going to build a national cathedral. We told them it was not the solution to any problem. You remember? And we told them that people already had facilities, they were holding conferences and whatever in. There's no church that needs the national cathedral for anything. They run their churches by themselves. And so that national cathedral was not a solution to any problem. They refused to listen to us. They started the project. $1 billion have been squandered and siphoned and nest. At a point in time, one human being was even 2 people on the board. We don't know today whether he was Victor Kusi Boateng or whether he's Reverend Kwabena Edu-Jemfi. We don't know. People just use dubious means to siphon monies. Look, the one who took pen and paper and drew the National Cathedral, David Ajayi, was paid 125 million for just drawing the plan and giving to the country. 2 days he raised a certificate, they paid him the monies. Recklessly spent monies and mismanaged all the funds that were given to them to build that cathedral. Today, go and look at the state of the cathedral. It has become the biggest problem to the people of this country. And the last time I was telling President Mahama that, look, that particular project, I have an interest in it. We shouldn't only retrieve the funds, but we should let the people use shovels and refill the hole they have dug there. When they finish refilling it, we should build an anti-corruption agency there and put a prison just by its side. Start sentencing all the people who dug that hole. You see, my pain in that particular project is that they didn't only sink the hole, they collapsed high-rise buildings. Kodjo, you know how rent is expensive in Accra today. And plush buildings that belonged to judges. You have the effrontery to collapse them. And you took judges, went and rented for them at a high cost. at the expense of you and I, our taxes. The passport office and other high-rise buildings that were there, they collapsed all of them, leading this country into huge financial loss. After you finished with that, you then sink a hole and you leave it. And that hole has virtually become a galamsey pit. So this government is entirely bereft of ideas and panaceas to the problems of this country. Again, they told us one of the problems of this country was that our presidential jet was faulty and couldn't fly. You saw the problem they created in that. They went around hiring private jets. If today President Akufo-Addo wants to watch a Liverpool UEFA Champions League finals at Madrid, they'll go and rent a private jet, pay £14,000 an hour. It will fly him there to go and sit and watch a football match. Look, these are the things President Mahama says I want to do. If I want to watch a UEFA Champions League match, I will renew my DSTV with 200 cedis, sit in my house, and I'll watch the match live. You, Akufo-Addo, can you even stand in the stadium and watch the match down there? Yet you want to be in the stadium at all costs, all at the expense of the taxpayer. So the point I'm making is that this government does not understand the problem we find ourselves in. The youth of this country need jobs. Our growth rates are dwindling. GDP is on the low. Our debt is skyrocketing. And you come and stand there and you think it's a laughing matter. It's a playing matter. Anywhere you find yourself, then a child will be shouting boaben, boaben, and you'll be pressing the horn. Look at what an adult has virtually reduced himself into. President Mahama, at every given opportunity, professes solution to the problems we find.
And you think with the issue of unemployment, the NPP has not proffered any solution?
Not a single solution. All what they have been saying have been whack. They have read their manifesto 216 pages. And Kodjo, I dare tell you that 216 pages of plain sheets are better than 216 pages of the MPP's manifesto. Because at least the plain sheets can be useful to you and I to print new documents. But the MPP's manifesto is entirely empty. It is entirely a repetition of things they have said before, and it's entirely a total disaster to the corridors of this country. Take the manifesto, go into it, and tell me a single solution they have professed. Rather, the problems they have bestowed on us, that is what Alhaji Bawumia has gotten the effrontery to mount a podium and pretend as if his solutions are going to solve the problems he has bestowed on us. E-levy, you Alhaji Bawumia, the only advice you have given to Akufo-Addo since you became his vice president is to tax. They brought an e-levy tax unnecessary. The whole world, the only country that still charges COVID-19 tax is Ghana, under the auspices of Alhaji Bawumia. The whole world, the only country that taxes Bola tax, sanitation tax, is Ghana, under the auspices of Bawumia. Betting that youth have been engaging in small. And I'm not saying betting is a good thing, but if the youth of this country have jobs, they will not bet. They bet because they don't have jobs. Now you, Bawumia.
So are you saying those who bet are people who don't have jobs? Because I know people who have jobs and still bet. That
means that the jobs they are doing are papa jobs. Their salary is not enough for them. And I already told you that there are people who go to work, but even if they didn't go to work, it would have been better because their salary is not sufficient. People engage in these bettings because they need extra source of finances. You, Bawumia, you pretended as if you were a Muslim and you are a Malam and you gave haram to betting. Yet when they cook the pig soup, you now beg them to give you some of the soup to drink. If you don't want betting, cancel it. If you are allergic to pig meat, you don't drink pig soup. Now you have told the youth of this country that you can bet. When you win the bet, I beg you, give me 10% to also chop. Is that not a hypocrite? Is that not a liar? Is that not a wicked man? So clearly they are bereft of ideas. Look, at every opportunity given to President Mahama, he professes solutions to the problems of this country. President Mahama sat down and thought that everybody in this country have been working within 8 years. And if you want to test the 8 hours, and if you want to test that this country is running at a one-way shift, in the morning, look at the direction of traffic. In the evening, look at the direction of traffic. What it tells you and I is that in the morning, everybody goes towards one direction because we are all going to work within 8 hours. In the evening after 4 p.m., if you are going back to Medina, you will see the traffic going back. The same people who came to work are the same people going back. So that one-way economy cannot compete with other countries that are running a 3-shift system. So President Mahama says, look, I would meet industry and we'll discuss with them how we can also do a 3-shift system. Then he made the TUC. And TUC says that one of the reasons why we cannot run a 3-shift system, or some of the reasons why we can't run a 3-shift system, is because our taxes are high. It's because electricity tariffs are high. And some of us even fear to work in the night. These days, mobile money vendors close as
so
early
security
as,
concerns are there.
So absolutely.
Cost of production is also there.
Absolutely. So President Mahama says, if you promise me that your jobs will run 3 shifts and recruit 3 more people at specific jobs in your company, I would then meet you halfway. So the monies I would have used to employ more than 1,600 presidential staffers and be paying them at the presidency, that will boost the amount that is taken to Office of Government Machinery to about 2 billion. I'll reduce it and take only 400 million to the Office of Government Machinery. The remaining change, I'll use part of it to give you subsidized taxes. I'll use part of it to give you time of use meters to reduce your electricity tariffs. And I'll use part of it to recruit security people to guard your companies in the night, so that you can work at a 3-shift system. So the TUC says fantastic. What you, President Mahama, is telling us is that one job will now recruit 3 people and run a 3-shift. So in the morning, you have people going. When they close and they are coming home, another group will be going for the 2nd shift. When they close and they are coming home, the 3rd group will be going for the 3rd shift. And then we'll be able to run at the full 24-hour system in this country. How difficult is this to understand?
Isn't this now over reliant and over ambitious on the Office of Government Machinery allocation? Because remember, that's the same funds that we are also talking about to fund the level 100 free tertiary education and all of that. Are you not relying too much on that allocation?
No. We are not going to use only the Office of Government Machinery. I have stated that government will continuously have revenue. And government has revenue from cocoa exportation. Ghana is a net exporter of crude. We continue having revenue from our oil corridors. Every year, we get 4 billion from oil corridors. The amount of fuel we bring into this country is about 3.3 billion. Annually, we get a windfall. In the petroleum sector, when we talk of a windfall, that's profit. We get profit of about 1.1 billion. That money is reserve that any president can use to pay for anything in this country. Yet this particular government usually chooses to use that to spend recklessly. You use it to drive long convoys and use it to have a Land Cruiser carrying the chair of the president, so that when he comes into the studio, they will put a chair here for him to sit on. President Mahama says, when I come to GHOne, I will sit on a chair. The fuel that will be used to fuel the Land Cruiser that will be carrying the chair here anytime I'm coming here would rather be used to pay for the taxes of companies to recruit Ghanaian youth so that they can work and boost productivity in this country. That is a simple policy for any Ghanaian to understand. Yet, there is one man who says he does not understand that, and that is Alhaji Bawumia. He will say the 24-hour economy is working because chop bars run 24 hours. Hospitals run 24 hours. Tomorrow, he will say it is a bad policy, so it cannot be implemented. Look at that. One man, you are hot, you are cold. And you see, I have known Alhaji Bawumia, and I know him better than you. He's my brother from the north. He's one man who lies unrepentantly. And he lies as if there is no tomorrow again for us to even expose him. Look, you cannot be hot and cold at the same time. Bawumia at a point says that I wasn't in charge of the economy. And I was not at the helm of affairs. And at another time, he says that he performed better than President Mahama. So where does he stand? There are 2 things Bawumia must do for us before we judge him, or before we even think of going into the election and even remembering him on the ballot paper. He must either admit that for the 8 years of Akufo-Addo he was entirely useless, or he must admit that he was at the helm of affairs but he was highly incompetent. These are 2 things. You cannot be here and here at the same time. And that has been his attitude, even in terms of religion. Look, the last time I said that if we don't take care, for 66 years or 67 years of our independence, Bawumia will plunge this country into religious chaos. Because he is the only flag bearer who still goes around campaigning on religious lines. And Kodjo, you and I, let's advise the young man. This is not the way to go as a leader in this country. You cannot go around and tell people to vote for you because you are a Buddhist, because you are a Muslim. And you see, when you go to churches, you go and look at the church and tell them that Jesus is coming again and Jesus is coming to save the world. Meanwhile, the religion that you belong to does not even believe in that. Islam, the difference between Islam and Christianity is that Islam does not believe that Jesus Christ is the savior. So if you go to church and you are telling them that Jesus Christ is the savior, it looks as if you are now coming to trick them and they don't even know where you stand. So let's advise him. This religious tangent is not healthy. Even if you claim they should vote for you because you are a Muslim. When you were a Muslim at 8 years of being a vice president, what did you do for the Muslim communities? There's been a debate on hijab. from time immemorial. The only man to have commented on that and allowed Muslim girls with hijab to attend senior high schools was President Mahama. You came in for 8 years, you haven't touched on the issue of Muslim hijab. When President Mahama was president, we used to go to Hajj between 11,000 and 13,000. Today, you said you took a Quran to the Flagstaff House, yet Hajj fares are 75,000, 750 million. How can people go again on pilgrimage? You said you are a Muslim, yet every now and then your actions depict, somebody different from what the Islamic community believe in. You say you're going to build model schools for Zongo communities. You should show me where the model schools are today. So these lies Bawumia brought in 2016 will no longer wash. I've said that in 2016 we had mercy on Bawumia because we really didn't know who he was. The stories we believed about him were told to us by Akufo-Addo. It was Akufo-Addo who told us he had worked at the Bank of Ghana. Akufo-Addo said he understands the corridors of this country. He is the economic messiah, the economic guru. And anytime they were saying it, he will be shaking the head and behaving funny. But today, we have seen his true length. And look, the most important aspect of leadership we must talk about, especially when it's got to do with Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, is the issue of corruption. 216 pages of their manifesto, corruption appeared only 3 times. They mentioned corruption 3 times.
And isn't that an indication that the government has already done enough in terms of nipping corruption in the bud?
It is an indication that their conscience was fighting them when they were writing.
Because they talk about setting up the special prosecutor's office and how that has also helped. And now the NDC finds it expedient only to support the works of the special prosecutor when it exonerates former President John
After
Mahama.
they formed the special prosecutor's office, in fact, at the vetting of the first special prosecutor, he said he couldn't live a single day with criminals and thieves, and that anytime he sees corruption, he chokes and he runs away from the site of corruption. 3-4 months after the man started office, he labeled for the first time our president as being the mother serpent of corruption, and that our president of all corrupt snakes was the biggest python that swallows corrupt money in the economy. True or false? That office was what passed a verdict on Alhaji Bawumia to have stolen 10,000 bags of salad rice from the port, all in the name of his administrator called Kekosai. But today Kekosai is still at the helm of affairs. That special prosecutor's office is what finally came and told us that he's now Ankwa Anoma. Corruption has choked him to the extent that he wants to fly, that his soul has left his body. And at this particular point, even if he dies because Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's corruption have been stinking in this country.
That's
I am saying that the only corrupt entity, the only corrupt leadership we've had in this country is Akufo-Addo and Bawumia, and their corruption history is there. Look, at a point, Akufo-Addo was testing Bawumia with corrupt deals, and anytime Bawumia did the corruption, we exposed him. Ameri, innovation scandal, we brought Ameri 510 billion. Akufo-Addo on the 31st of July traveled to ECOWAS for a meeting, so he decided to test Bawumia to see whether he's learned corruption on the job. Then he gave the deal to him to sign. It was Bawumia who signed the Ameri innovation scandal that ballooned Ameri from 510 million to 1.3 billion. When they took it to Parliament exposed them. The president had to run back to Ghana just to cover Bawumia, and what the president did was to sack Boakye Jaako and lie that he was misled. Till date, Kodjo, do you know who misled the president? He didn't tell you and I. Boakye Jaako wrote a statement and said when the dust settles, one day he will speak. And the day he will speak, we will see the kind of evil people we have at the helm of affairs. Again, PDS was supposed to come and support the corridors of this country. They were supposed to develop our 33 kV lines so we could export electricity from Ghana to neighboring countries. When PDS was brought, the Millennium Development Fund was supposed to come from America and support us with about 500 million to boost our energy corridors. The money was brought. They decided to set up an SPV called PDS. Bawumia and Akufo-Addo went and brought their friends, who were, some of them were barbers, and the rest, brought them together and formed this particular SPV. When it was formed, they were supposed to meet what we call condition precedence. Bawumia decided to alter that and make it a condition subsequent because he knew the intentions of what he was going to do, and he knew that he was going to balloon the contract. Then they presented fraudulent, fake Carl Bank documents and presented to Parliament. When Parliament exposed them, their own minister, Amewu, said the documents they had presented were fraudulent. In the FTR report stated that Bawumia was the one who chaired that meeting that concocted those documents and presented. You know what it did for the wrong it did to you and I? We lost the 500 million media was going to bring. Today, as we speak, 500 million they had collected in the name of ECG is still seated in their accounts. And that is why every day ECG runs at a loss, because Bawumia and Co have refused to release the 500 million. Again, Ghana is now under arbitration in the UK. Every week, the local champion Godfrey Dame uses the taxpayers' money to fly first class to go to the UK and defend that particular corrupt deal. If this is no wickedness, then what again can it be? Again, in corruption, Nyantechi was the one who told you and I that Akufo-Addo is my friend, and I know where he sits. If you enter the room, don't talk. Just give Akufo-Addo $3 million. The next morning, he will look for my packet and enter. Once he enters the packet, you can be sure that all the contracts in this country will become ours. And when you meet Bawumia, give him $2 million. Bawumia has suffered too much. When you give him $2 million, he will shake the head. All the contracts in the north will be given to us. Nyantechi told us that particular matter was subjected to investigation. Up to now, we don't know the report of that investigation. Right. Nobody has told us anything. So when NDC comes, we will show you people how Bawumia and Akufo-Addo have been corrupt, and Nyantechi will have to explain to us how they were sharing these monies in an ass expose. And again, Alistair Matthias, under the when Al Jazeera did their investigation under that, the gold mafia said Akufo-Addo is my friend. He's my best friend. Sometimes I smuggle monies out of the country in their name. I launder monies in their name. Here in Bawumia.
And these are claims that were made.
Akufo-Addo
that have not been substantiated.
So Akufo-Addo wrote to Al Jazeera and asked them to withdraw or he will sue them. You remember, through his lawyer, Esuman. Up to now, Al Jazeera said we won't withdraw, and even if you joke with us, we will show videos of you even collecting the monies. Don't joke with us, or else we embarrass you. Till date, Akufo-Addo hasn't gone to court on that matter. If he's a man and he has balls, he and Bawumia should go to court and let's see. They would bathe them and strip them naked, and the whole country will see how corrupt they are. Why? Isn't it the first president we saw collecting brown envelope on camera? 2 times they brought it. Akufo-Addo came, went back, came again and went back. What's Akufo-Addo? $40,000 was in that particular envelope. These acts are acts of, total shamelessness, and we think that as leaders they should explain to us. You see, I'm always waiting for investigations into matters. We're all happy when the OSP finally exonerated and vindicated President Mahama. You know, so the last lie they were lying on President Mahama, Airbus. The OSP said President Mahama is a clean man, and every allegation labeled against President Mahama, because he knows he's a clean man, he subjects himself to investigation. But you see, the one I cry for most is Bawumia, because Akufo-Addo has 3 years immunity. As for Bawumia, even on the 8th of January, we can start testing his corrupt balls, and that will be done. The people of this country need accountability.
Well, the party says it's incorruptible. There have not been any allegations that have been proven against Dr. Bawumia in terms of corruption. He's not a man that can be corrupted. President Akufo-Addo has told us himself that he believes in the competence of Dr. Bawumia and the fact that he's a man of his word. He's a man who has lived beyond expectation.
It is because of the lies Akufo-Addo told us that we are suffering today as a country. It was Akufo-Addo who told us Bawumia was the economic wasket and the Messiah and was going to arrest the dollar and capture the dollar. Today the dollar changes at 16 cedi. You know so. Akufo-Addo told us Bawumia was going to reduce fuel prices. Today a gallon of petrol is about close to 100 Ghana cedi. You know so. So one of the reasons why we are suffering today is because Akufo-Addo was deceiving us that Bawumia was a good guy, only for us to realize that the man is entirely clueless, entirely bereft, and worst of it all, he lies through his teeth.
The argument is that all these could have been done, but for the external factors
I am coming to what Bawumia has done to we the people of the North. If I feel pain, you know why? The Bagri Dam has been spilled. Have you heard about it? It started consuming people's properties and lives and property. I sat in your studio here and I said that what the North will never forget is the wickedness of Alhaji Bawumia to his own people, the people of the Northeast. $12 million that was supposed to commence work on the Palugu irrigation dam. Bawumia and his cronies squandered the money. When they went to cut sod for the program, they took 1 trip of sand and 153 blocks. That sand has been sold to the local assemblyman. The last time I went there, they said 149 blocks were sold, and the people were begging me to buy the remaining 4 blocks. The contractor has left site because not a single person was given to him. Yet, in the Auditor General's report, $12 million, about 125 million, have already been doled out and paid. If you want to be wicked to your own people, the Palugu irrigation dam was simply supposed to always collect water from the Bagri Dam spill.
The excess.
Absolutely, the excesses, and use it for irrigation during the dry season.
And that's why in his manifesto he said that
again.
Yes, he's going to prioritize
again. That. You see, anybody who does this is entirely shameless. And the Quran tells us that people you should fear in your life are shameless people. At least when you have an iota of shame shame in your life, you will have conscience. And when you have conscience, you won't be wicked to people. But when you are shameless, you are the worst form of human being. And that is Bawumia. You have spent $12 million. You have deceived your people for 8 years. And you have the effrontery again to stand and say they should vote for you.
To be fair to him, he wasn't president.
My brother.
He is not president.
Then when he becomes president,
so there's an executive decision that is taken that Dr. Bawumia does not have control over.
You weren't president yet. You took 10,000 bags of rice from a businessman. That matter is still under investigation. The special prosecutor.
And because
you weren't president,
investigation, we can't
you weren't president yet.
Malik, we cannot conclude that Dr. Bawumia did that.
You weren't president yet. You were taking $250,000 as appearance fee, and Charles Edubuahin said it. When the special prosecutor investigated it, he said Bawumia's corruption is so big that it goes beyond his office, and he was pleading with government to pass what we call the Corruption Practices Act, so we could finally sit Bawumia down and strip him naked. That matter is not dead. If Bawumia thinks that we've forgotten, we haven't. And on 9th January, his prosecution will begin in that particular matter. So we can term a lot of these things as allegations because the clearing agent will definitely clear them. But the day of reckoning is coming, and the youth of this country want to see accountability in some of these things. Let me come to the policies and projects of President Mahama. President Mahama, aside the 24-hour economy, has professed a national apprenticeship program. He's saying that young people struggle to get jobs, and young people who are learning informal jobs like tailoring, masonry, welding, fittery, mechanic, and all these things, painting, usually struggle to even buy little things to get enrolled. Upon assumption of office, he will set up a fund that will be used to support all these people. And when you graduate and finish your tenure, he will give you some small startup capital to go and start your work, so you could also become a master in this world. If we have enough human resource in this country, beyond even the demand of people in this country, we will start exporting some of those workers to go and work in other countries. Don't you see Chinese people working on our roads in Ghana? It's because the demand for masons have gone beyond their country. So today they get contracts in Ghana and they come and work. We could also get contracts in other African countries. Ibrahim Mahama is a private man, yet he gets contracts in other African countries. Currently he's working in Liberia because the demand has gone beyond this country. So public demand can also go beyond this country, and we can emulate people like Mr. Ibrahim Mahama and go into other African countries and work. We need human resource, and President Mahama says we'll train them. There's going to be what we call a Money Fund. President Mahama says when drivers, when tailors, when hairdressers retire, they sometimes struggle. I know somebody who was very, very okay and very comfortable when he was working as a tailor. He's retired. Today, when you see his life, excuse me to say, it's nothing to write home about because his savings have all been consumed. President Mahama says he will set up a fund so that when those people retire, he could be giving you those small stipends so that you would also enjoy your retirement till one day God calls you. Because when you were a tailor, you were serving the nation. You were sewing dresses for you and I could just sit in the studio here. So why is it that when you retire, government shouldn't support you? President Mahama says would support all these people. 1 million coders training coders program for young youth in ICT. President Mahama says, look, the youth of this country are so smart that look, even without government support to them, there are many people who create softwares, many people who are already working in the IT sector. So when he comes into office, we will set up a fund to train 1 million youth in ICT, and some of these youths that will be trained in ICT will work in government agencies through the 24-hour economy. Some of these people will be used as galamsey trackers through AI, that we said we'll use AI to fight galamsey. Some of these youths will be used to fit into corridors that will establish online businesses for people to work and even work for multinational companies in this country. That is the vision of President Mahama to the young generation of this country. President Mahama says we'll set up a women's fund, and that was one of the reasons why he brought Professor Nana Jane. Women in this country struggle a lot. Look, the last time a woman was telling me that when you take loan from a private company, there are some of them that if your loan is due today and by tomorrow you don't pay, they'll come and start throwing stones on your roofing sheet, and they'll frustrate you till you finally pay the loan. Why can't we have a public venture where women walk in freely, no guarantor system, get loans and start up their businesses? Look, when a woman's business thrives, she employs Ghanaian youth. She makes a living for herself. She will pay small taxes to government, and government productivity will also be boosted so that we can cut down on importation and rather focus on an export-led corridor. That is the vision of President Mahama, to give women small loans to start up their businesses. Free tertiary education for level 100.
Talking about the Women's Development Bank, there are some who say we've seen semblance of that, where women or people are given loans, and we've seen how these things have turned out. Like you mentioned, in some private sectors, we see some companies going after the people who have taken loans and able to pay and all of those things. How different will that be when we have a women's development bank? Because the argument is that we are likely to see these things play out in that sector also.
Number one, the difference is that this is going to be a public venture. Number two, this is going to be strictly women. Number three, you will not need a guarantor system to come and take. Number four, the interest that you'll be paying back on the loans you've taken are going to be very little and regulated by government. Number five is going to be a flexible loan system. Number six, there's going to be assurance that when you go into the bank, you will get the needed money you need to start up your business. So this is entirely different from the private sector. Indeed, there are private schools, but there are public schools. And indeed, there are people who want to attend more public schools because they feel that is controlled by government, and they are highly trustworthy, and in anything you do, it is secured and you have the assurances. That is what the Women's Bank is going to represent. A public venture that will give women loans to start up their businesses and boost productivity in this country whilst employing well-meaning Ghanaians.
And that has been the case with current interventions, where the accusation has always been that government rather targets people from their party, people who are sympathetic towards the party, and those are the people that get access. How different is this going to be so that we do not have a repetition of same?
I'm happy you are bringing this up. It is because you have seen the MPP in power for 8 years, and you've seen their misconduct and their negligence. That is why you assume that all political parties do that. And it's well understood, because of course MPP came into office, even fertilizer that they share, they give it to their party apparatchiks. The last time somebody was telling me that my own good friend Chinia was one of the people who was exporting fertilizer on the back of a donkey. Fertilizers that were meant for his constituency. He decided to export them into Burkina Faso.
Allegations again.
And make money. I'm saying this, my integrity on the line. I'm Deputy National Communications Officer. When I tell you something, I say because I know what I'm saying. His own minister wrote a letter accusing him of smuggling fertilizer on the back of a donkey. I have copies of those letters. The then Agric Minister Akoto, I have copies of it. But I have said that as for that particular one, when we come, we would ask the donkeys where they took the fertilizer to. They will show us and we'll bring the fertilizer back and prosecute that man Chinia. But that aside, the NDC government was sharing free fertilizer when we were in office to cocoa farmers. The Ghanaian people saw how we shared it. We didn't discriminate. We gave everybody the fertilizers because we knew that if everybody plants and the cocoa grows, government will make profit for it. And that was how come the NDC even chalked 1 million tons in cocoa production. There are other policies the NDC brought into office when we're in government, and some of those things were freely shared to the Ghanaian people. Look, sometimes one of my pains as an NDC person is that there are many NDC people who even attacked the party because they felt the NDC government was too fair to Ghanaian people. You've been hearing it. NDC people saying that for NDC, when you come into power, you do father for all. You help everybody. You don't support only NDC people and leave MPP people. But when MPP comes, they support only their people. People have been attacking the party.
And John Mahama says he's been explicated of the father for all syndrome.
Yes, and that is different from what the MPP is doing today.
How so?
President Mahama says he's been explicated because he will not, he will not do things that will see other people's lives go down whilst others grow. He will not run a family and friends government, of course. And he's saying that at this particular time, well-meaning Ghanaians who duly deserve to get what they earn will get what they earn. That is all he's saying.
But so isn't that the father for all things?
No, there's a difference.
Regardless of where someone belongs, or regardless of it, you're still a father to the person.
Baumia's brother, Abraham Baumia, tendered for contracts to renovate the whole airport. His company was the weakest among all other companies. The weakest. All other companies that tendered were strong and had good experience. Yet, because Baumia was his brother, they awarded the contract to him. Family and friends. Baumia's brother tendered for a contract again at Teshi to reconstruct the Teshi roads. He inflated the contract and ballooned it to about 75 million. They brought it, and because Baumia was his brother, they gave to him date. Teshi roads have been abandoned. The whole airport renovation virtually has been abandoned. And yet, the monies that were meant for it have been siphoned.
When Teshi road are you talking about?
President Mahama says
there's been some construction in terms of Teshi inner city roads. Are you talking about the main road?
The other roads, the interjoining roads, go through Teshi. All those roads were allocated to Baumia's brother. As for that contract to see on the Teshi main road, it was awarded by the NDC. Yeah. And NDC started its construction. I'm talking about what they awarded to Baumia's brother, Abraham Baumia, with his wife. It was he and his wife's company. And Baumia now ask them to award it to him. Conflict of interest, another corrupt practice that will not abandon. So as for Bawumia, he and his brother Abraham Bawumia, both of them will be standing trial when NDC comes into power. But that aside, President Mahama says he will not run a father for all government. Does not mean when well-meaning Ghanaians deserve to get something, they will not get it. They will. But he's saying that he will not give contracts to people who don't deserve it. He will not give contracts to his family and leave the Ghanaian people. He would ensure that everybody gets what he deserves and what is due under his administration. Look, contractors have not been paid. Many contractors are struggling for a livelihood. Yet anytime Bawumia's brother raises a certificate, they pay him. I have said that, look, aside the state capture of lands and property in this country, there is currently an ongoing human capture. Asante Bedietu, his father has been appointed to the GIMPA board. His mother has been appointed to the presidential household. His sister has also been appointed to a board. His brother has been appointed to a board, including his daughter. So as for Asante Bedietu, everybody in his house is currently an appointee under this government. For the first time in the history of this country, Akufo-Addo appointed his own daughter, Nkrumah, at the Creative Arts Industry Board. Contracts that were given to his daughter, okay, in huge sums, could have been given to Ghanaian contractors to do, because at least you are president. And in sharing the national cake, every household must get some. But you decided to run a family and friends government. You, your cousins, including your baby mama, Virginia Hesse, has been appointed an ambassador to Czech Republic. Why? What kind of wickedness is this? When Bawumia realized what his boss was doing, Bawumia also decided to start doing family and friends. So his sister, Laraba, was first made the NDA boss. She siphoned over 200 abobo years. Till now, they have not accounted for it. When Bawumia realized that his sister was so sharp, and when he even elevates her, she will do more of these scandals for them, he now made her the gender minister. Today, only God knows what they are doing at the gender ministry. Bawumia now went and took his wife's father, Mr. Ramadan, made him ambassador to Czech Republic, took the wife's brother, Abu Ramadan, made him deputy CEO for NADMO, took his own brother again, Mumuni Bawumia, not the Abraham Bawumia, they are giving contracts. So this is another one, Mumuni Bawumia. He works at the Interior Ministry. They have shared positions to themselves, their family members, their wives. I mean, if you decide to share a national cake in a family house, what do you want the Ghanaian people to do? And that is why only a few people will continue to enjoy in this country. Yet you have about 1.8 million Ghanaian youth still out there being unemployed. President Mahama says when he comes, he will set up mining communities, refineries and mining communities. So all mining communities will get refineries to work with and would continue to start producing and transforming our raw mining minerals into finished goods. Why can't we produce batteries in this country? We've discovered lithium at Mankesim. Yet countries will come and buy the lithium, go and produce the batteries, and come and sell to us again. President Mahama says that will be a thing of the past. If we have the raw product here, the finished product must be produced here. Even if you are a multinational and you want to produce, come and set up the company in Ghana. When you set up the company, you will definitely recruit Ghanaians, and then you can produce here and export to your country. We will no longer let you take the raw material to your country, go and work, bring it here and sell to us at high prices. Those days will be a thing of the past. Cocoa growing areas. President Mahama says the best chocolate in China is chocolate from Ghana, which means that we could transform our cocoa into finished goods and also export chocolate to other neighboring countries. In 2015, I remember when President Mahama set up the BP shea nut factory to the PBC, we exported huge tons of shea nuts and shea butter to Brazil. I remember by then the Agric Minister was Alhaji Muniru Limuna. He brought in tractors into this country because the Brazil government was so happy that we had brought shea butter to them. That is what they needed to produce creams and even medicine in their countries. We exported to them. We got huge revenue and we got tractors in addition. Why can't we revamp the shea nut corridor of this country? President Mahama did it. This government has come. They have collapsed the BP shea nut factory. The PBC, they have used corruption to finally collapse the entire PBC. So the Ghana Nuts company is virtually on its knees. They lay off workers for more than 3 years now. They cannot even pay their workers. That is the wickedness of this particular Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. Yeah, President Mahama says when we come, we will not only revamp the shea nut factory, but cocoa refineries will also be set up. Farmer cooperatives. And my brother Kodjo, next year by this time, let's go into farming. Because you see, farming is a lucrative, business. business. And no matter what you do, you can be a banker, you can be a doctor, but you can also have a supplementary farm. I know people who are doctors, yet they have pig farms and goat farms and cattle farms. And every weekend they will come and sell their meat in town. They make huge sums of money. I want to go into farming. I don't know about you. Next year by this time, let's go to the north, let's get land, and then let's set up farming. President Mama says he'll give us free tractors to plow our lands, he'll give us free seedlings to plant, and when we start boosting and getting a bumper harvest, he will clap for us and also reward us. That will increase the productivity of this country because we will supply raw materials to farm people in this country to produce finished goods. We will also supply food supplements for people to use in cooking food in their homes. Today, we import even pepper to a tune of 2.2 billion. We import tomatoes to a tune of 2 billion. The last time I checked, even wele we eat. We import it from Niger. Abba, Alabaraka. So we cannot rear cattle here. We cannot farm tomatoes. We can't farm onion. We can't farm pepper in this country. Next year by this time, you would have to change my name to Farmer Malik because I'll be in the bush farming because President Mahama will give us incentives and ensure that the youth of this country go into adequate farming.
But MPP says that's what they're doing with PFJ.
The MPP says what?
Planting for food and jobs.
The plan after the plan.
Rearing for food and jobs.
So after that, we are importing pepper to 2.2 billion. After that, rice importation has risen to 4 billion. After that, last 2 months, we didn't even have tomatoes in this country. We had to wait for the harvest in Niger. And you see, I continuously say that Bawumia is a disaster to the people of this country. Look, when they went for COVID-19 funds, 21 billion they got. They decided to share it like grandma to their parliamentary candidates. They squandered the money out of corruption, misused COVID funds. When Cote d'Ivoire got their 1 billion rapid credit facility from the IMF, you know what they used it to do? They used it to plant onion and they used it to plant tomato. Today we go to Cote d'Ivoire to buy tomato. That is how smart Ivory Coast was. Niger, it's a desert. You know that. They don't even have water. Yet Niger got their COVID funds and they used it to plant pepper. Because Niger knew that Ghana had an incompetent liar like Bawumia, who was vice president, and he will not use our money to plant pepper. He will spend the money and will come to them to buy pepper. Today, whatever they prophesied has come to pass. We go to Niger to buy pepper and bring it to this country. So John Mama says, let's take this braggadocious pair of leadership out of office and let's sit and work and farm and grow things in this country. And then our GDP will be able to grow. I was talking about the free tertiary education for year ones.
Yes.
Next year by this time, if you have a sister in Form 3, tell your sister that all she needs to go to university is her ECOLAG and her Ghana must go back. She just needs to call the school and say, I'm coming to school, and you will be in school. Wonderful policy. President Mama says it's a privilege for everyone to be in to attain tertiary education. So he will support you. He will clear your fees for the first year so that you have the privilege of being a tertiary student. When you finally become a tertiary student in year 2, you don't even have money to pay your fees. He has expanded the student loan trust fund so you can go to the student loan, get money, and finally complete your education.
But with that policy, there have been a lot of questions about what exactly makes it free. If is it that the government would absorb everything, including the cost of accommodation?
Do you pay school fees? I don't know if you pay school fees.
Yes, I have 3 daughters.
So next year by this time, when your daughter comes and say, Daddy, give me school fees, that component you always give her, you won't give her again. Tell your daughter that your mama has paid your school fees. That is what we mean by free tertiary education.
So what does it encapsulate then?
I'm telling you that I just made it simple for you to the layman's understanding. When school resumes and your daughter comes and says, Daddy, I want school fees.
For the tertiary institution.
Tertiary institution. That money you used to give your daughter or your son, you will no longer give that daughter. And if you're a boy listening to me or a young man, that money you usually go and tell your dad or your mom that, Mommy, give me school fees. That money, your mama has paid for it. School fees is entirely different from residential fees. And you know that. So that school fees you used to give your children or your what? Your mama says, I have taken the cost. And you will no longer give that. Good news to level 100 students.
But the question is clarity on the policy because people feel,
so
like you said,
yes,
that you just have to take your ECOLAG and go.
I've given clarity.
But when I go to the school, unless of course I have to commute from home to school, and as a father, as a parent,
I've explained that to you.
Right.
I've brought clarity to it.
Okay.
That we are talking about school fees for level 100s. When you are going to school, if school resumes, you ask your daddy you want school fees, and you ask him you want hostel fee. You know, so your mama says I've taken school fees.
So let daddy provide hostel fees.
It is clear. That's all. Go to school. If you are a day student, take your ECOLA, take your book. Don't even go to the accounts office of the university. You have no business there. Just go to the classroom and start school. Your mama says I'll cater for that fees for you. The last time the policy was explained at the youth, campaign manifesto launch. They interviewed SHS students, and one SHS boy said, I've been thinking of how I'll attain tertiary education, but John Mahama has met me halfway. May God continue to bless John Mahama. Next year by this time, inshallah, I'll also go to tertiary education for free. Look, Kodjo, this is a fantastic policy. We will run it in this country, and in time to come, year 2 will become free, year 3 will become free, year 4 will become free.
So the progressively free
absolutely is what has been started, and it was started under the free SHS in 2015 by John Mahama. When MPP came, they also made year 1 free, you remember. Then year 2 became free, then year 3 became free, then it became free.
So the ultimate aim is to make tertiary education
definitely free, based on Article 25 of our Constitution. So it must be free in the long term, and this is what President Mahama is starting. At the long term, we'll go to school free, and I want to wake up one morning seeing Ghana at a 24-hour economy, seeing Ghana at 2 a.m. people going to work and some coming back, seeing Ghana get free tertiary education, you can go to school for free, seeing Ghana having free primary health care, you go to the hospital for free, and government will continue to work and establish companies and boost companies to work, and then government will continue to get revenue to still run the economy. That is the Ghana I want to build, and the only one who can help me, you, and everybody in this studio build that Ghana we want is John Dramani Mahama. No two ways.
So for the free tertiary level 100 education, we are looking at it starting if John Mahama wins.
When he wins.
In January.
When he wins in January, it will start, inshallah.
Right.
Once he wins, the next academic year, full force.
And one of my challenges with that is that I've heard John Mahama say that this government has chewed the meat.
Yes.
And has left the bones. So are we going to use the bones? Are the bones enough to be able to fund this without putting unnecessary strain on the government and the running of government for John
Mahama has never said anywhere that revenue will stop flowing through government corridors. And anybody who says that is not truthful. And John Mahama has never said that. John Mahama knows that revenue will continue coming. John Mahama knows that we will continue to export oil. He knows that we will continue to export gold. He knows that we will continue to develop and run our country. And John Mahama intends even coming into office and producing things locally. Like I stated, the raw materials that will be transformed into finished goods. When that is done, we'll get enough revenue flowing in. And that revenue will not be recklessly spent like how Baumia is doing today. It will not be recklessly mismanaged by like how Baumia is doing today. It will be prudently managed, and it will be utilized into efficient ventures for the Ghanaian youth to get the desired and needed resource from all those managements and innovations President Mahama is going to set up. So once revenue comes in, it's a decision of you, the president, to know what to use the money to. John Mahama will not fly private jet. He will recruit Ghanaian youth. John Mahama will not cut e-levy cake. He will rather use it to pay for free tertiary education. John Mahama will not choke his government with family members and appoint a huge number into office. John Mahama says he's doing only how many ministers? 60 ministers. 60. Fantastic policy.
Mahama says he's doing 50.
The remaining, his government did 120 after telling us they will reduce the number.
Because President Akufo-Addo said he needed that number
John Mahama
at the
was
time.
in office.
And that's why Dr. Baumia is going contrary to a lot of things that are happening currently. And some say he should be hailed for being bold enough to be a part of the government and still say that when I am given the nod, I'm going to go contrary to what is happening now because I feel that this is the way to go.
Yeah. He's a bold hypocrite. He is a bold hypocrite, because if you are not a bold hypocrite, you will not be in government and be telling us to vote for you again to come and solve the problem you have created for us. That is a bold hypocrite. So the only boldness Baumia has is in hypocrisy and is in lies. Aside these two things, he has no boldness in anything. I am saying that listen to Baumia's campaign message and you will know that the man is entirely bereft of ideas. Worst of it is that he went and brought a man who is not the medicine to his sickness. He went and brought Napo, an arrogant. Look, that man sees human beings like we don't even exist. When he's walking, that pomposity, when he's talking to the extent that Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, our savior, the man who fought for the independence of this country,
he has apologized for that.
Was thrown.
Malik,
after he apologized, he went on radio and insulted him again. I have the video, I can send to your producer. He pretentiously apologized, went on radio again and insulted Nkrumah, threw Nkrumah to the tatters. Look, sometimes I wonder how Nkrumah will be feeling in his grave today. Is this the Ghana I fought for? Napo, you want to take me to the gutters? Please, have respect for former presidents. Me, I respect all former presidents because I know that they lived and worked. I respect President Kufuor, 21 gun salutes. He was not an NDC man, but I respect him. I respect Atamils, 21 gun salutes. I respect even JB Dankwa, who was very evil, and they were the people who, merged with the CIA to finally even eradicate Nkrumah under the economy. There were people when they were declaring independence, JB Dankwa and co were hiding in the crowd. They wanted to see what Nkrumah would do. They never mounted the podium. Yet after Nkrumah became president, these hypocrites who are family members to Akufo-Addo decided to go and pay on to the CIA, and they came and sacked Nkrumah. Nkrumah wrote that in the dark days of Ghana in the book he wrote. Yet I still respect him. Akufo-Addo's father who gave birth to Akufo-Addo, who is now our problem in Ghana today. I respected Edward Akufo-Addo. He was a former president. So why is it that you, Napo, you just don't want to respect anyone? Recently, did you see how he called Atamils? Please, if you were not brought up well, I learned that when people die, sometimes you don't even say he's dead. He's kicked a bucket. In the Akan language, Wakanchiniegu. Very good. I'm not really an Akan.
I'm not Akan.
Yes. Wakanchiniegu. Oh, Nyamia Freno. Oh, Wakoye Nyamedie. Those are the beautiful attributes we tie on to death. You don't just say, whoa, 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 whoa. No, please. No, sir. We don't do that. If you were not trained this way, I'm here to tell you. You don't tell somebody that woo near woo no. Respect Atamels. May his soul rest in peace. Respect his family. At least, if not for anything, respect what his family feels about him. You can't just disrespect them that way. So a liar like Baumia decided to bring an incompetent, arrogant man, and that two pair, I sat here and I said it, they are a condemned team. You, Napu, you insulted diploma holders. You said they didn't have the qualification to even teach, and they were dunderheads. Look, Kodjo, my father did diploma before he finally did a degree. He didn't do diploma because he was a dunderhead. He did diploma because he was a poor boy from a small village in the Upper East called Binduri. And there were many people who had to go to school. His father didn't have money to pay their fees. So he needed to do diploma. When he becomes a teacher, he then starts earning a salary. Then he betters on his certificate and finally gets a degree. Many diploma students who are watching me today had the same situation as my father. And so Napo shouldn't think that because people do diploma, the reason why people do diploma is because they are dunderheads. People do diploma for different reasons, and in the long run, they further better their educations. I know doctors today who first did diploma. I know professors who first did diploma. So he doesn't even understand it. Then you just call diploma students dunderheads. Can you go to diploma students again and campaign? Free SHS, when students were pleading on you that they wanted latrines and washrooms, you said they had a poly bag. How do you talk this way? But I can't repeat some of these things. You, Napo, attempted introducing LGBT curriculum in the name of comprehensive sexuality education. We kicked against it because you wanted to teach our children how man and man should marry, how woman and woman to marry. After we kicked against it, Napo refused to bring a curriculum again. And I know that when they win power, God forbid, if they win power, God forbid, they will bring back that LGBT system because both of them are refusing to even comment on it because they know the intentions they have.
Dr. Baumia has commented on it.
Napo attempted bringing that. Napo Baumia said
his religion is against it and he stands for his religion.
Akufo-Addo went to the Anglican church and said the same thing. When he went to Al Jazeera, he said it is bound to happen. When Kamala Harris came here, he repeated the same LGBT stance to her. So these are people who say one thing when they are in corners, but when they meet the world, they can't say it. When John Mahama met the world, he said it. When Atamils met the world, he said it. If he is bold, he should say it for the world to hear. They are pretending. They are hypocrites. You see, Napo has been entirely arrogant and entirely clueless after President Mahama resolved Dumso by bringing power batches into this country. Napo led us again into Dumso. When Napo went to the Otumfuo Palace, Otumfuo said, Minister, wa oba ye kwa kodidi, and a wa wenim kania friend. Otumfuo, his own uncle, told him to go and resolve the issue of Dumso. Yet when Napo had the platform, he stood there and said there has never been Dumso under him. Indirectly, he called Otumfuo a liar. Because Otumfuo
he says what we experienced was Dumsie.
But Otumfuo said it was Dumso. And he admitted when Otumfuo said it. So why will you change your stance and call your own uncle a liar? Look, with the greatest of respect, I think that Napo needs help. We need to sit him down. Aside he vowing to even be vice president, we need to sit him down. As a human being, you cannot be this arrogant. You see, the world has seen wicked, arrogant people. Idi Amin and those people, very wicked people. And I don't think that we should nurture people like Napo again into becoming that. Let's talk to them. They should calm down. You should emulate Professor Nana Jane, a professor who is very humble. 2 days ago, we were at the Tema market. And the market woman said, when you even see her, you will know that she's achieved such a huge milestone. How humble she is. The last time I heard Wuntumi and Co even insulting her that she dresses very simple. And I was asking myself, so you want Professor Nana Jane to wear gold chain and wear gold things because she's a professor? No. Professor Nana Jane says she's as simple as everyone. She would wear what she can afford. She will go to the market women and talk to them. She will go to the road on the streets and talk to women. She doesn't need to dress like an Italian oligarch for people to see her and know she's a professor. No. She will dress as simple. If you want to do that, continue doing that. But for me, I'm a humble woman, I'm a simple woman, and that is what our mothers and the female corridor of this country will need. So, Kodjo, next year by this time, Ghana will be a prosperous nation under John Dramani Mahama.
So quite interestingly, this Saturday, you're launching your manifesto.
Right.
And I've heard some MPP folk tell me, Kodjo, watch out, they'll be stealing our policies. And it's a good thing that we brought our policies earlier. The NDC is an alternative that people should not go for. What should we expect on Saturday?
Let me first tell you the policies MPP are stolen from our manifesto. 1 million.
You're yet to be launched manifesto. Yes. Or the youth manifesto?
I'm going to tell you because it was in our 2020 manifesto.
Okay.
And we'll repeat some of those things.
Okay.
1 million coders program for young graduates. It was in our 2020 manifesto. Baumia stole it. Page 13 of our youth manifesto again. We repeated it. Baumia stole it. It was in their manifesto. They put it there. The same thing, word for word. So Baumia just asked them to bring the NDC 2020 manifesto. He told the IT guy to do copy and paste and put it there, and we caught him. John Mahama promised free tertiary for disabilities in 2020. We are going to repeat it again. Baumia has stolen it and they have put it in their manifesto, page 27 of their manifesto. Stolen policy. Abolish e-levy and betting tax. President Mahama didn't bring e-levy. He didn't bring betting tax. He said he will abolish it. Ghanaians believe him and they trust him. Baumia, you brought e-levy. Baumia, you brought betting tax. Now you tell us to vote for you to come and clear the tax you've brought. Why don't you clear it today as you are in office? So clearly it is a lie, but he stole our policy and put in their manifesto. John Mahama says the next NDC government will establish a women's bank. MPP were criticizing this policy. I heard people in their party ranting, lying, criticizing the women's bank. Little did they know that Baumia was about to steal that policy. If you go to the MPP manifesto, they have put what looks like a women bank. Yet they don't even understand how the policy will run. If you want to test Baumia's, cluelessness on policies, ask him how some of his policies will be run. He can't explain to you because they simply did copy and paste. I can go on and on and on. More than 50 policies they stole from our 2020 manifesto.
The 2024 manifesto of the NPP, stole over 50 policies
from our 2020 manifesto. If there were time, I'll read all of them. I've already started reading some. I will establish $50 million fund to strengthen fintech industry. They've repeated the same thing under page 28 of their manifesto. It was in our 2020 manifesto. 2020, we did not win power. So we will repeat some of our policies because President Mahama still believes that those policies are the panacea to the problems we find ourselves in today. Baumia, you are in power today and you are stealing our 2020 policies because you are bereft of ideas, because you don't have the solution to our problem, because you've been in power for 8 years and you cannot solve the problems we find ourselves in. You have rather become the biggest problem to the Ghanaian people in this country. And I have repeatedly said, if corruption and incompetence and lying were a human being, it would have been Alhaji Dr. Baumia. He fits into all these three spaces and entirely he has nothing significant to offer to the people of this country. So let's put them aside. Let us always discuss a nation builder. Last time I listened to Baumia promising one phone, one CD. I looked at him.
Well,
one phone.
They've explained that it was taken out of context, so Baumia, even though he said one CD, two CD.
So Baumia must now talk for people to come and now see what he says. What is that? When John Mahama speaks, it is once. And that word, in fact, when John Mahama speaks and anybody even attempts explaining it, we tell the person that, please, your explanation is not needed. Repeat what John Mahama has said word for word. because John Mahama means what he says, and before he says it, he's thought of it and he understands it. Bawumia didn't think about the policy, because if he thought about it, you would say we'll pay 1 cedi, 2 cedi, so that if I buy a phone that costs 15,000, I would have been paying for about 100 years. I would have been dead and my children who can be paying for it. Who even told him that the pressing need of the unemployed youth today is a mobile phone?
Well, he says that's
People
how to advance the digitalization
jobs.
agenda.
I know people who have sold their phones just to start up businesses. I know people who have sold their phones just to feed. I know people as a result of hardship have sold their phones just to pay their school fees. And you come and tell us that our pressing needs are phones. No, sir. Our pressing needs are jobs. The youth of this country need jobs. The last time, one of his ministers again, Chinia, told me I was unemployed. And I said, yes, I will be unemployed because jobs I would have gotten, you, Akufo-Addo, Bawumia, and your cartel have awarded those jobs to your family members. And even ministers today are stealing as if there is no tomorrow. Look at the SML deal, how they are siphoning money from our oil corridors. It's been subjected to investigation. That is another deal I have told President Mahama I have an interest in. When we come,
so you have an interest in the National Cathedral?
I have an interest in the National Cathedral. I have an interest in the 10,000 bags of rice Bawumia stole. I have an interest in the $250,000 Bawumia was collecting as appearance fee. I have an interest in how Akufo-Addo ended up in the pocket of Nyantechi and how the pocket of Nyantechi look like. I have an interest in this particular GHOne deal because it's a stinky one. Finally, I have an interest in Pius Enamajide transporting fake journalists to Austria. And when a journalist was asked what a recorder is, the person was looking at the recorder and said it is prekese. That was how they deported all the people. Meanwhile, this particular man had already collected money from them.
But that has been investigated.
And where's the report?
And where's the report? He's been exonerated. That's what we are told.
We are told. No report. We did a report. I need to read the report. The day I'll hold the report, I will tell you how much Pius took from the people. The day I'll hold the report. But 2025, we'll hold the report and the people do it. I have an interest in Sisala is Chinia, who has smuggled fertilizers meant for his people to Burkina Faso, who has awarded contracts, his own Tumu contracts, to his own brother Bazak Chinia, and they formed a company called Batwa Wese. And his driver, his brother, and himself are all on the company, and they are using it to dupe states' funds. They collected mobilization to construct the roads, and they abandoned it. Next year, by this time, I told Chinia he will be in prison, his brother will be in prison, and they will even have a driver in prison because his driver too will join them in prison, because you cannot siphon this amount of funds as if that was not enough. State lands in Tumu, he has siphoned everything. All government lands, he has taken all of them. Why? Were you MP to do us good, or you were MP to do us bad? But I know that the good people of Sisala is to vote him out, and after they vote him out, he will cry blood, because next year the youth of this country want accountability. But I've been listening to Gen Zs,
right,
and one of the biggest interests aside development is that the people in leadership must be held accountable. You want accountability? People must be held to the balls. People must account for their wickedness, their selfishness, their incompetence, and people must account for why they decided not to develop the country, but rather to dupe funds and state property. Ukudjato Ablakwa, I salute him. Almost every week exposes a corrupt deal, to the extent that people have even lost track. Yesterday on a Twitter space, somebody told me that he hopes we have a tracker for the corruption. I said, this my head is not big for nothing. I have every corrupt deal here, and I'll never forget it. When we come into power, I'll be reminding them.
And that's why I want to ask that if you do have all these things that you say point to wrongdoing, why wait till your party gets the?
Because we are virtually, weak currently to do anything. We are armless. We are toothless. When we attempt anything, they shoot it down. Mr. Akufo-Addo will clear it. Why? When Sputnik V was ballooned from 10 million per vaccine to $10 per vaccine to $19 by the health minister, we exposed it. A committee was set up. The health minister came and admitted guilt. He said he accepts. He wasn't thinking right. There was pressure. If you are corrupt, there's nothing. It has nothing to do with you not thinking right. Too. Whether you are thinking right or you're not. In fact, if you are not even thinking right, it means you are a madman. And if you are a madman, you cannot hold public office. But if you are not thinking right and you are still sane, then you need to be prosecuted for it. Akufo-Addo cleared him, went to his hometown and said, Health Minister, Ghanaians are worrying the Health Minister too much. Cecilia Dapa, when we found $1 million plus under her bed. In fact, Monies that were meant to dredge the Odo Lagoon, $43 million, they squandered it. We found huge sums under her bed. They stole $1 million. It took 6 months for Cecilia Dapaah to know that somebody has touched the dollars in his safe. 6 months. Masa, you and I, even if you steal my 10 Ghana cedi today, I will know you have stolen my 10 cedi. Cecilia Dapaah, $1 million. She didn't know. 6 months before she realized. In fact, she didn't even detect it. The husband came and caught the maid stealing some money again. That was when he realized that we need to count the money. And they counted it for weeks before they realized that she stole. You can imagine the dollars. Her chains in the CID's report and watches alone were about $1.2 million. Her chains alone can buy 3 houses at East Legon. Her bags and the wig. Me, I've not even seen the wigs she wears, because the wigs is like the powers. But little do we know that the wigs were expensive. The wigs alone were about 300,000 euros. That alone can buy 3 houses at Trasacco. Your wigs alone. Why? Are you a walking gold mine? What kind of wickedness is this? Yet when we caught you, you lied that it was your brother who was a shoemaker that gave you some of the money.
I mean, she's provided some justification.
She has not provided anything. The brother's wife
for the amounts that were found.
The brother's wife is suffering.
We know that issue.
It's a lie. The brother's wife is suffering, and the brother's wife said, if indeed my brother gave you this money, then you have been so wicked. Because even what to eat is a problem. So even if you be wicked to Ghanaian people, must you be wicked to even your family? Your family members are suffering, yet you have packed dollars under your bed. Look, that matter, Akufo-Addo wrote a letter and ended it by, my dear Cecilia Dapaah, I know you'll be exonerated. I know you are in. Oh, fine. When we come, we'll reply that letter. And we'll write a letter again to Cecilia Dapaah. That is the letter that will put her behind bars. And I've said it, and I'll repeat it on any day. So we cannot do much today because we are not in power. And we have a corrupt entity as clearing agent, the mother serpent of corruption as president, and his deputy serpent of corruption as vice president. So we can't do much. But when we come into office and we have a clean nation builder like John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana John Opoku-Agyeman, they will see the true colors of the law. The laws will take effect, and the laws will take its course. And you see, my joy in this matter is that President Mahama says, I will not just crack the whip on only MPP members. I'll crack it on NDC members. Because me, as I sit here, I put my integrity on the line. If we come into office and you as an NDC minister or CEO or whatever, you decide to siphon state funds, I, Malik Basintale, will be the one to lead you into prosecution. You will go and join the NPP people who are in jail. We are coming into power to work for the country. We are coming to transform the economy. We are coming to reset power. And I will not allow any appointee under President Mahama siphon state funds and embarrass President Mahama. We will protect the legacy of President Mahama, and we know what GHOne Mahama has in stock for the people of this country. Same GHOne Mahama who built Terminal 3 says he will build more for this country. Same GHOne Mahama who built KJTR market says he will build more for this country. Same GHOne Mahama who stabilized the dollar in 2016 says he will stabilize it again. Same GHOne Mahama who stabilized fuel prices says he will stabilize it again. Same GHOne Mahama who reduced unemployment to 7% says he will do it again, and this time even more. This is the GHOne Mahama we know. This is the GHOne Mahama we trust, and we know that he will deliver, and we, the Ghanaian youth, will help GHOne Mahama deliver for the people of this country. Finally, Kodjo, you see, the MPP will bring money, and these days they have started sending mumu to people.
Well, they have?
Yes, they've started. They did it in
you know of that?
Yes, they did it in Asenof. Asenof, they were sharing 200 new notes. Some got 2 million, some got 400 CDs, and they were sharing it. They thought they could win Asenof. But you see, the MPP supporters must understand that their leaders deceive them. Asenof, if you see the hotel and the kind of fair people, women who were in the hotel, and the enjoyment the MPP leaders were doing there, you will know that this is not what wins election. So I was surprised that I saw the MPP executives on camera shouting, "We win Asenof." I said, "Sir, how will you win Asenof? Is it the disco you people are doing at your hotel that you win?" We went into the trenches. We worked tirelessly under the leadership of our national chairman, Johnson Asedo Ketia. We worked with our hearts and we delivered Asenof. That is how we deliver power. I've heard people in the MPP say they will never hand over power. I repeat this here, humbly. Power is in your hands, MPP. We agree. But on the 6th of December, power will go back to into the hands of the Ghanaian people. On the 7th, you, the Ghanaian people, will decide who to give power to. We are praying that you give power to GHOne Mahama. I will promise you, that in the name of God Almighty, we will protect the power you give to us. Ignore those runs. Those same people attempted stealing our hotels. We just pushed them small. They ran away and left our hotels. Not to talk of power. On the 7th, Ghanaians should give us power, and we promise we'll protect the power they've given to us. They will share money. The kicks of a dying horse are stronger than when it was alive. People who slaughter goats, they'll tell you that before you kill the fowl or goat, the kind of energy it exerts is usually huge. But you need endurance, you need persistence, you need determination. And when you keep hitting where you are hitting, they'll finally hand over. We know they'll bring money, they'll bribe the youth. I will encourage every young person, if you don't have a Momo account, go and open a Momo account. Because this time, they said they'll be sending the money through Momo. MPP have gotten enough funds, and they will share it.
So people should take the money.
Collect the money.
Isn't it also now glorifying monetization?
No, it doesn't matter.
And the challenges thereof, see, and why we find ourselves where we are currently.
Whether we like it or not, MPP will share money. Even though they will account for it when we come into office, but they will share money. So if you're a young boy listening to me or a young girl, open a Momo account, open a bank account. When they call you and say they want to send the money, collect it, because it is your taxes. It is your money.
And the NDC will not be sharing money.
It is your debt.
The NDC will not be also trying to.
Even let me be honest with you.
Right.
Let me confess here. Even buying fuel to travel and campaign is headache to us. Even buying petrol. I'm being blunt. I mean, this is a bit embarrassing, but I want you to know that even buying petrol into our cars to travel around the country and campaign, sometimes we do lala sulala. You know lala sulala. We contribute small in order to buy fuel. So we don't even have the money to give. What we have is the goodwill of President Mahama and a good message to give to Ghanaian people. And we have the future of this country in the hands of John Mahama. That is all we are campaigning with. And in the name of God Almighty, we will succeed. The MPP will come with money. They've come with lies. It has failed. They came with accusations against President Mahama. It has failed. The last straw they are holding on to is to come with money. When they bring the money, collect the money. Because Baumia was borrowing 780 billion, all in the name of Ghanaian youth. When they bring that money, collect it, chop the money, and go and vote against this incompetent, clueless, inept, family and friends, condemned pair of Baumia and Napo. And let's vote for the nation builder, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman.
So on Saturday, Central Region is coming alive.
That's right.
We are going to see the launch of the manifesto.
Yes.
And I've heard reasons why the NDC, some people believe that Central Region is where the message of hope from the NDC to the people of Ghana should be delivered.
Yes, we'll launch our manifesto in Winneba on Saturday the 24th. All those who have received invites should come there. If you've not received an invite, please don't stress yourself coming to Winneba. Stay in your house. You will watch it on TV and listen attentively. We want to give Ghanaians that opportunity to listen to our manifesto. Listen to what President Mahama will be saying. The last time we met journalists, you saw how President Mahama answered the questions of journalists. A fantastic man. He knows what he's done. He's proud of his record, and he knows what he wants to do for the people of this country. He professed solution. Saturday we are going to deliver the future of this country to the people of Ghana. We are going to show you how 2025 to 2028 in this country, how Ghana is going to look like from 2025 to 2028. We are going to show you how Ghana is going to be resetted and how Ghana is going to be transformed into a better country under John Mahama. We'll prove to you, we'll explain our policies, and we'll tell you how all those policies are going to be implemented. Saturday would win the trust of the Ghanaian people. Saturday, Ghanaians will have confidence in the NDC, and Ghanaians will know that the only party that means well for this particular country is the National Democratic Congress under John Dramani Mahama and Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Agyeman. So stay attentive. I won't take the win out of the sale. I would allow us to get to Saturday. May God grant us long life. And I have said that after all is said and done, on the 9th of January, after the swearing in of John Mahama on the 7th of January, inshallah, and by the will of the Ghanaian people, on the 7th of January 2025, on the 9th, Ghanaians will naturally be issued a certificate of survival. Surviving 8 years under this government has not been easy for all of us. It has been cruel. It has been a mixed feeling, and I know many people have even had suicidal thoughts. But please calm down. You've survived 7.8 months. The remaining months are just few. a time is coming where you become bright again. To the youth out there, I know many of you sometimes feel irresponsible. It is not your fault. All of us sometimes at that some point feel irresponsible. We feel that we could have done a lot. We feel that we should be where we are not today. But it is not our fault. Don't be hard on yourself. It is because Bawumia and Akufo-Addo have given jobs to their family members. It is because Bawumia and Akufo-Addo are implementing an Ejapade document that seeks to will the resources of this country to their family members.
Yeah, well, and because they say you are the ones who brought that book out.
Don't worry. And because you and I are not descendants of Kuntun Kununku, you and I are not descendants of Oforipenye. You and I are not descendants of JB Dankwa. You and I are not part of the Nanado family cartel and the Achem mafias that they have infused Bawumia in. We will not benefit from it. Calm down, relax, take a deep breath, and remember that better days are coming. And when John Mahama becomes president, would once again become the responsible man and the responsible youth we always aspired to become. And we'll get that future, Kodjo. You and I will get that future and that prosperity that we always wanted to do, and to make Mama proud that we as young people did not fail them in this country. That can only be delivered under John Dramani Mahama as president.
Right. So on Saturday, just like we delivered the MPP's manifesto launch, on Saturday we'll also be live. In fact, there's a crack team that would be in Winneba to also bring you that live feed from the NDC's manifesto launch. We'll get to understand exactly what the blueprint for the NDC would be for the nation Ghana, so that it would inform your choice, your decision. So on Saturday, you would have heard both from the MPP and the NDC, and you would get to make an informed choice going into the 7th December elections. I'd like to remind you that Voters Connect, first of its kind, today we are live in the Ablekuma North constituency. So I'm here and the team, they are already on the grounds, and shortly we'll be connecting to them to get to know their concerns in the area. We've had bad roads in the area and how that has hampered productivity. And so if you are in that area, if you find yourself in Dakuma and Kokompe area, the Odoko area, parts of Damsoman, you are in that constituency, you want to have your voice heard, please make your way to the 37 building. That's somewhere opposite the Presbyterian Church in Kwashiman. Please make your way there. The team is already set there, and you'll have the opportunity to be heard live on television and also on radio on Star 103.5 FM. Voters Connect will be live there. So please make your way there and make sure that you are part of the conversation. There are tons of messages here. Yeah. Tons of messages for Malik, but I'm sure that all those questions will be answered on Saturday when we get to hear the dictates of your manifesto. There is this woman, Grandma Emilia. She sent me one. She says that her granddaughter is happy that Mahama has paid her fees already in university. But let me tell you more about Full Cup catering, because if you are contemplating what to have for breakfast, Malika has said that now breakfast is very expensive, but at Full Cup we make sure that breakfast is affordable, regardless of what your pocket can provide. We have something tailored to your needs. So if you're looking at American breakfast, you're looking at British breakfast, you're looking at Ghanaian breakfast. For those of us who are not cool with the coffee and tea and our breakfast is wache fufu, we've also got you covered here at Full Cup Catering. So what we do is that we also have freshly squeezed juice. We don't want you taking fizzy drinks that will bring health complications. Fresh juice. We talk about jollof with chicken, goat, turkey, fried rice with chicken, goat and turkey, yam cheese, spicy chicken wings, fufu with goats is also on the menu, and we are available for all corporate setups. So if you're at an office, an organization, you're looking at providing breakfast for your staff, you're looking at providing lunch for your staff, please call us and talk to us nicely. We have beautiful and wonderful packages for you. The number to call is 059 144 1238, 059 144 1238, or 0244 253571. 0244253571. And you can also locate us at Kanda number 9 Ablade Road at the Kanda roundabout, and Tesano. We are also at the Ghana Telecom University College GTUC. We're there, so we also do delivery, so you don't have to come all the way to us. Just give us a call and we'll be there. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us. Well, thank you for sticking and staying on with us. We had that conversation earlier on the Breakfast Review segment with Malik Basintale, who is the Deputy National Communications Officer of the NDC. Well ahead of the NDC's manifesto launch on Saturday, the 24th of August in Winneba in the Central Region. We are live there, and we'll also bring you a live coverage of that. And so let me also remind you that we are live in the Ablekuma North constituency this morning with Voters Connect. What we are doing is to seek to give you the platform as voters in the December 7 election to air your views, air your grievances, let the politicians know exactly what the real deal is on the grounds, because usually we have a disconnect between what the politicians think the people need and what the real issues are on the ground. So this morning we are live in Ablekuma North constituency, and so if you find yourself in that constituency, I want you to make yourself easily and readily available at the venue. It's happening at the 37 building in Kwashiman. It's around the Presbyterian Church, the Trinity Congregation of the Presbyterian Church. We're set up there. Sewami here is there with a team ready to bring you that interaction and also get to engage you on your concerns ahead of the elections. But what we also need to do is that we are spreading our tentacles. So this morning, I want you to pick up your phone and call me and tell me exactly what the concerns are in your constituency and which constituency you think that we should be in next. The phone number 053-296-1218. 053-296-1218. I want you to call me now and let me know your constituency and the peculiar challenges in the constituency that have been overlooked by the politicians for years, and also let us know which constituency next to come set up and have you your grievances. 053-296-1218. Connect with me and let me know exactly what your thoughts are on the situation in your area, the challenges that you are facing, and what will inform your voting when it comes to December 7. What will be the thought pattern when you enter the booth and cast your ballot? 053-296-1218 is the call line. 053-296-1218. Quickly call me, and remember, please, when you do call, remember to turn down the volume on your television and just interact with me via the phone so that we can hear you clearly and avoid the challenges with transmission. So the phone lines are active now. 053-296-1218. Call me and let me know exactly what is happening in your area. I know for the people of Ayikando, the challenge has to do with your roads. The roads there are terrible. So there is dust during the dry season. When it's in the rainy season too, the roads are very unmatchable. So that's the challenge in Ayikando in the Amasaban constituency. So let me hear from you. Let me know the challenges in your constituency. Let me know how you are what you're expecting to hear from the politicians. The NPP has launched its manifesto. It stated exactly what its challenge or how it would govern when given the nod. I have my first caller on the line. Hello, caller. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from?
Good morning. My name is Mohammed from Constituency.
Good, Mohammed. So what exactly are the challenges in your constituency that politicians have overlooked?
Our problem here is that the NPP, we don't vote them again. Because now we don't have parliamentary candidate for Walwala constituency.
For the NPP?
Yeah, the NPP, we don't have parliamentary candidate for it, but we does nothing about it.
And that's a very big problem for you there.
Yeah, it's a big problem for us. They are losing their seat for the NPP for years. So we need them to do something about it.
But have you been told why you don't have a candidate yet?
He knows much about it. He just refused to attend to us.
Right. And in terms of your area, what are some of the peculiar things there, aside the fact that you don't have a parliamentary candidate? How are your roads? How is the cost of living in the area?
For me to pay the truth for years, we are suffering for years. I'm from his hometown. We are suffering, that deeply suffering for years.
You're suffering?
Yeah, for years you can't buy milk. Like bag of maize is 800 Ghana cedis per year. By the time your mama, we used to buy maize, one bag of maize 100 Ghana. Yes.
And so that's like some 700% increase.
Everything go high, everything.
And how are you coping then?
You say?
I'm asking how you're coping. Hello, Mohammed.
Hello.
Yes, I'm asking, so how are you dealing with the situation that everything is so high in terms of cost there?
For that one, we have nothing to do. We just pray to God, give us the president who will come and take care of us. That's
right.
What we are praying.
Very well. Mohammed, thank you so much for calling, and I appreciate your call this morning. Mohammed, all the way from Wale. He says one of the challenges is that they don't have a parliamentary candidate, and it's quite worrying. Aside that, too, they have to battle with high cost of living. I mean, maize that sold for 100 cedis a sack now goes for about 800 cedis, and it's challenging. Let me also hear from you, 053-296-1218. Call me, let me know exactly the challenges in your constituency and which constituency you would want the team to come to next for the subsequent edition of Voters Connect. Like I said earlier, today we are live in the Ablekuma North constituency, and it's going to be an interesting conversation once we get all started, and I'll entreat all of you who are in that area, from the Dakuma and Kokompe area, from the parts of Dansoman, please make your way there. Let's get interactive there. This is GHOne Television coming to you in your homes. We're bringing the studio to your doorstep. We're bringing our microphones, our cameras to your doorstep so that you can have the opportunity. Most often we talk about the fact that, well, there's a disconnect because when we talk, the politicians do not hear, simply because we do not have the platforms to air our views. Today, it's unscripted, it's raw, it's completely your views that we are bringing to the fore. 053-296-1218. I do have another caller on the line. Hello, caller. Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Hello, caller. Good morning.
I'm fine, please.
Good, great. So, where are you calling from? And what's your name, please?
I'm Ibrahim. I'm calling from Contanos, specifically Pata.
Good, Ibrahim. So, tell me, what are the challenges in the area?
My brother, high cost of everything in the country is now, we can't afford anything, my brother. Serious. Very, very high. Even pure water that we can't buy.
So how are you coping then, if it's that bad there?
We are just managing.
Right.
We are just managing.
Right. And in all, you've heard the politicians. I mean, the NPP has told us what they would do if Dr. Bawumia gets the nod in 2025. Are you convinced?
I'm never convinced, my brother. They've been in power for the past 7 years. And we've not seen any changes. What can Bawumia bring? What will be the new thing he's coming with?
But he says
nothing.
He says he's coming to improve.
Absolutely nothing.
He's coming to improve digitalization. He's going to ensure that we have electric buses, among others, to reduce the cost of transportation, for instance.
Can you please tell me what the digitalization is? We don't understand digitalization. Do we eat digitalization?
And so for the people of Nkwanta North, what would be that immediate need for the people in the area? What would you say?
I can't tell, but what did he promise us? He should change. For now, the way the whole the situation is going, he should change this around.
Right.
Yes. What we are hoping for.
Right. Well,
yes, please.
Thank you so much for calling this morning. I appreciate you so much, my brother, all the way from Nkwanta North. Ibrahim there. 053-296-1218. 053-296-1218 is the call line. Call in and let me know exactly what's on your mind this morning. What are the challenges in your constituency? What are the prospects in terms of what you've heard so far from the NPP? We also had Malik in the studio not too long ago talk about what to expect in John Mahama's 2024 manifesto, the NDC's manifesto. He says it is one that would bring hope, that would give the blueprint of how the NDC also intends to stir the affairs of the economy. John Mahama, 24 hours economy, among other things, will be captured in that manifesto. 053-296-1218. Do call and let me know exactly what is on your mind this morning. And let me also remind you that we're live on Facebook, live on X, and also live on YouTube, so you can also join the conversation on our Facebook stream, our X stream, as well as our stream on YouTube. Let me get to know exactly. But now it's time for you to have the microphone. It's time for you to let me know exactly what is bothering your mind, what is contained, what is very, very peculiar to your area. So far we've heard from two of our viewers who've told us that high cost of living, basically, it's a major killer for them. The two don't seem to have any form of hope in something that would be drastically changed from now till the end of the year. And let me know exactly what you also think is the way forward. 053-296-1218 is the phone line. 053-296-1218. You can also call. And like I mentioned earlier, we'll be live in Ablekuma North Constituency. There is an earlier report we played to you from the constituency. We'll be taking another look at that particular report. And we'll also shortly be crossing over to my colleague Sewa Ami here from Ablekuma North Constituency. And so once we have a very clear connection, we'll definitely cross over. So if you are around the area, Dakuma and Kokompe area, we are looking at somewhere around Kwashiman, also around the Dansoman area, and you fall under that constituency. This is your time. This is the opportunity you've been waiting for. You spoke and we heard, and we are delivering today. So make your way to the 37 building. It's at Kwashiman. It's opposite the Presbyterian Church, the Trinity Congregation of the Presbyterian Church. That's where we have pitched camp. That's where we have set up. That's where Sewa is with the team, to make sure that we get to know exactly your grievances in the area. We heard from them earlier. Some talked about the challenge with regards to the road networks in the area and how that is affecting their productivity. The drivers complaining bitterly about that. And some also talked about the fact that, well, even though the NPP has dominated the area since 1996, very little has been done in terms of delivering on the promises that have been made to them. So please quickly make your way to the stand there. It would be an interesting one. In fact, when I'm done here, I'll make my way there also to join the team on the grounds to, keep it raw, keep it real. The challenges in the Ablekuma North constituency. Now, the parliamentary candidates are two women who are vying to lead the people in parliament, to represent them in parliament, and it would be an interesting one. We'll also have them as part of the conversation there. So the NPP's parliamentary candidates will be there. The NDC's candidates also, Oben, will be also there. And to have that conversation is one that you don't want to miss out on. And so shortly we'll be crossing over to the Kwashiman area, Ablekuma North constituency specifically, to bring you Voters Connect. My colleague, like I mentioned earlier, Sawami here, is already there. She's already on the grounds with the team, and then we'll get to bring you a live coverage of what is going to happen there. It's also going to be live on Star 103.5 FM, simply the best. So stick and stay with us. In the meantime, you can still call 053-296-1218, 053-296-1218, and let me know exactly the challenges in your neighborhood. But we can also bring you now that report that was earlier filed in the area, in the constituency, highlighting the situation there.
(1992), areas under the jurisdiction of Ablekuma North include Kwashiman, Odoko, Dakuman Kokompe, Nyamiche, and parts of Dansoman. It has been a stronghold of the MPP since 1996. Kwamina Battles has been the constituency's longest-serving MP until 2008, when Justice Joe Appiah took over from him and later defeated Ras Mubarak of the NDC in 2012. In 2016, Nana Ekuya Owusu-Efriye represented the MPP in Parliament but subsequently lost to Sheila Bartels, the daughter of Kwamina Bartels, during the MPP primaries for the 2020 parliamentary elections and is currently the MP for the area. But here is the interesting twist of events. Nana Ekuya Owusu-Efriye, who lost to the incumbent MP Sheila Bartels, has staged a strong comeback by beating Sheila Bartels in the MPP primaries to be the parliamentary candidate for the 2024 elections. Though the MPP has dominated the political landscape in the area, some constituents who spoke to the news team say they are unhappy with the performance of the MPP. Some taxi drivers at the Kwashima taxi station in an interview served notice that they will not vote for the MPP this time round because they believe the MPP have taken constituents for granted. They cited poor roads and many other unfulfilled promises.
Kwamina Bartels bash Sheila Bartels sesu onu no yeden otisu chese obe promise yen e wo taxi station ha ye committee ya oba meeting ase odi en be kasa e no obisa ye how ye ka ye how nyina kire no including road ya e da high apikis road ya ko top ye omu ba be omu promise ya e no omu di sapiti be gusu road na da wache oba ye no ye ka kire ni say ye road we ani ye how den e high en pipe say ufi akra na wo ba traffic tia o ho na ye den ye doji fa wetimi anya road na ma omu be promise e no omu promise no e no omu ye den omu be gu sa road de we su e di be dada e
be pipi wi ni ba bibi ankoso so kwasi bu kwani na mani na anya obi bo for drop kra kwasi bu ye enko because kwani na anya a center inside e di room e di bani kwani nya what I say but you MP MPP etisu de bia ye bre what I say
The parliamentary seats for the 2024 elections in the Ablekuma North constituency will be keenly contested by the MPP's Nana Ekuya Owusu-Efriye and the NDC's Irabna Obin, who are matching each other boot for boot with billboards scattered at vantage points in the constituency. In an interview with the NDC's parliamentary candidates, Irabna Obin called out the MPP for turning a blind eye to the plight of constituents and described their track record as abysmal.
Cast your mind back, years back, the constituency hasn't progressed or it hasn't improved. Nothing seems to be better. Ablekuma North constituency is a problematic one. Yes, the other party, that is the inconsiderate NPP, has been in power for nearly 30 years. Nothing works. Nothing works in this constituency. Look at our road networks. And so if MPP has been in power for nearly 30 years and we have nothing useful to boast about, then your guess should be as good as mine.
Although the news team engaged the MPP parliamentary candidate for an interview, the attempt proved unsuccessful. With over 30,000 votes difference between the NDC and the MPP in the 2020 elections, can the NDC bridge this gap and possibly win the Ablekuma North seat for the first time? Well, 7 December is just around the corner. Reporting for GHOne News, Obed Kingaglo, Ablekuma North. has been in existence since 1992. Areas under the jurisdiction of Ablekuma North include Kwashiman, Odoko, Dakuman Kokompe, Nyami.
All right, so now let's take you live to the Ablekuma North constituency. My colleague Sawami has joined me, and she's live there with the team on the grounds for Voters Connect. Sawa, how is the area, buzzing this morning? Sawami has joined me.
Joshua, thank you very much for coming to us. We're coming to you live from Kwashiman, the 37 building. Now, are we on? The line is off. Constituency, the Ablekuma North constituency, just like the reports that you heard earlier, has been in existence since 1992. But from 1996, the NPP has predominantly won the parliamentary seats in this constituency. And that is because in 1992, the NPP boycotted the parliamentary elections. And so from 1996 up until this year, it has been a safe seat for the NPP. I must tell you, however, that a global info analytics poll that was released a couple of weeks ago seems to suggest that there is likely to be a shift after the December 7 election, and that the NDC is likely to take the seat. However, I must say that they also report of a 4% margin of error. That means that the race is still open and the NPP can still win it, or the NDC may win it. Now, despite the fact that the NPP has been here, won the seat since 1996, the people keep complaining, and there are reports that show that the area consistently has developmental challenges. The community has only private hospitals. There's serious filth issues here, and I am joined by some of the members who live in this community. My very first guest is called Kapi. He's popularly known in this area as Kapi. Kapi, mpacho beme kakra. Kapi, ne ete say?
Mepacho boko mehoye.
Na constituency hanauti.
Mepacho matransin from 1993.
Oh, any onim haye.
Mepacho.
Na since 1993, nature say what live through all the MPs are omabahane abaina aba into power. No constituency net sense say.
Sisi no constitution no omuba obia ba promise oye. Obia ba promise a obeyesi. Just omunyuma no nada omumwaye nsuo to a na eyiri environment ni nyina gates ni nyina echoku at the same time bon se na ko amanfo fie itama ye ho kire road ni nyina gates ni nyina echoku omoba omoso mbeye nso no matran so no moko we ba no cause the same problem ka men ko a nka sa MPP na ndisi mpoko mu nyina mfiri so na kiyan fa new person mra a obetimi aba ba hwe kwashima constitution because the way omuka omunye no kiya new person a obetimi aba be gina ama both party no omo difference na ewo mu no because obi aba na da
na say NDC there on winning seat weda
NDC no winning seat ni da, but hopefully say I say president no omo odi kan no enim say sa na omo so a chirifo no so ba omo so be ye
enti no in from 1993 na watna ha no eya hwan na ato ababa no
me to aba edema NPP always in the MPP na mato ma tamesepen.
Okay.
So what I say?
But parliamentary ni there MPP na auto.
Metuma both. Metuma parliamentary. Mato ma omaka mo. But sisi ya no me hu say de nyina na yekwa. Yetuma mu nyina no mko parliament wa omudi ehwambo. Omo fa bibi pa bia mfa ma kwashima since 1993 bibi yegina yi saa na tie. Yehu difference bia almost say MPP for say be o di akokokra beto ha akokora na umbeto ama no because MPP seat because this year no yehu difference no So, the difference is that say you best nka ye new person obetime gina for abrekuma nofa nke nyina be ba kwato amon because the air question no enye fine.
So say akabe 4 months to election 2024. Yenim so before for beba dia but NPP ewo ho na NDC enso wo ho nom. One kasa no na Sunday inso yet say NPP launch your manifesto. Minim say mo parliamentary candidates on we di nkomo bebre. Why pa na wo gidie woni mu asad now because new person now can ye hu ne yet say obe sisa constituency na mamo.
Okay, since you are a new person, so be a with new party. So what I say.
Who yet? Since for now between NDC and MPP no.
Between MPP and NDC no. If you say acquire free, and since an amount for nimnos so much fees on betting at Trabama no to my baby. Sana mimi huno. So what I say. Sana mimi huno say queer free and yes and a friend.
NDC
there be
no
ono ananya sa na friend correct fees or no na CCR no me hunu say nyame ya dum o moto aba me hunu say ono no befa because
na wo gidie woni mu
me wo gidie woni mu say ono na befa
okay na wo gidie woni mu so betimi asesa constituency
and according to the way me kasa ne ye no tie no CCR wa mafo vim say oba obetimi aye bribia ma changes aba because sisi awantimi ne kasa mu no to antimi amma changes amba ye betu no ye ma no nko 8 years kra ye betu no by 4 years okay sana me hu no
yo kapi me da se na 2024 elections here presidential ne so hu ne sem between John Mahama ne Dr. Bawumia
sisi ano me hu ne say John Mahama ne Dr. Bawumia me hu say Dr. Bawumia befa because sisi ano sisi o say mo hyehyeye na mo de ato ho no o say oto aso na wie peye because sisi
e kroni ye ekoye ma
oh me de obia bra misika se me fa ya me carpenter adwuma but me na me hu say bia enkoye but according to o mo hyehyeye na o mo de ba say free education ni ade no so I say because me say free education no me ba ko bi so I obi su ba ko bi it me feel say sa no man president fufuro bi ba obetima atwa sa no man ma ya sa akoyechi eti ono fa odin hyehyɛ fufuro be sa so aba behim amana akwanim asene say obi ba betwam sa na me hu no
yo happy medasi please join me Mpacho what's your name?
Kofi Sam.
Kofi, how are you? How long have you lived in this constituency?
About 5 years.
About 5 years. How has the constituency been from when you used to be here 5 years ago and now?
I haven't seen any improvement though. It's been the same thing over and over again. There is no improvement. I haven't seen any significant improvement.
So going into this year's elections, what are your expectations and who do you think is likely to get the job done or bring the kind of improvement that you talk about?
Actually, I don't believe the system over here, the entire political system, I don't believe in it again. I've lost trust in it. You see, like the whole government system, both the NDC and then the MPP, they've actually disappointed the youth. I mean, like they are not creating any jobs, and then they are not putting any measures in place to help the youth. So I don't see. I don't think I'll be voting this year.
Why?
Well, I don't see the effort, like the essence in voting.
But the NPP says they've created 2.3 million jobs. Have you heard of it?
No, I've not heard of anything. Because for me, for instance, I went to agriculture college. I completed, 5 years ago. There is nothing being done about it. Like most of the agri college students, after school, they just go and find something to do. They don't have anything to do. They find something to do on their own. I mean, we completed school as extension officers, and then we have farmers. We have farmers at certain places that they need the extension of the work of the extension officers, and they are not getting it. We are staying at home, and we are not getting any job. So we have to find something to do, something out of our career, like something out of our.
So what do you do currently?
I'm into selling of land and then real estate. Yeah.
Okay. And then things are going well for you. Oh?
That's not my preferred job, but then I would like to do what I went to school to do, but then I'm doing. Yeah.
If you had the chance to speak to any of the presidential candidates, what would you tell them? John Mahama, Nana, Dr. Bawumia, what would you tell them?
I'll tell them to prove what they are saying, like do the talk.
Okay. So of all the candidates that we know so far, at least we know John Mahama, we know Dr. Bawumia, we know Nana Kwame Bediako, we know Dr. Hassan Ayariga of APC. Who do you think is able to change the affairs of this country?
Actually, I'm a big fan of Nana Kwame Bediako because I've been following him for a long time. But then, you see, they will come and then they will tell you, I'll do this, I'll do that. And then when they are voted into power, they tend to do different things. I don't know if there is something that they've been thinking of doing for a long time, but then their manifesto is not what they are going to do. They wait until it's election year that they will start to do things that are not supposed to be done. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Kofi Sam, for speaking to us. Now, your fellow saying, what's your name?
Emmanuel Lokba.
Sorry? Emmanuel, what's your name?
Lawrence Samuel.
And you?
Emmanuel.
Oh, yeah. Are you brothers? No. You're friends. Okay, Emmanuel, how long have you lived in this constituency?
Okay, I've been here for. I don't stay here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm at Pokwasabaya.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you come here a lot?
Okay, I've been here for almost like 6 to 7 months now.
You've been here for 6 to 7 months now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Well, what do you think about the constituency and all the things that have been happening here?
Okay. I'll say for here, it's the main problem is the high cost of the items we buy. Normally, I don't see any because everything from Nibu now you're talking about at a low price. I tell your man you cost well between baby side and there. They just 1 city, watch out, I catch just 5 cities. On here, but you have to buy it. You get it. And I'm got this no so we be name what. Santa Maria is school in himself. Quite no and yet now see I mun say everybody to abana tell mun say some more yet. Got us some more year quite no. But last time we catch me down for be say we say more ye a two about MPP about the Washington make us some more ye a two about no mean up and be jai quino. Now say bium.
Now one casano why now what you do when you move few ways over to Ababano?
Oh me there for the past years me call some to Abamo because me say we buy Robert can any no babe.
You won't to Abba.
Oh that because over to Abano. On buy a cano, we buy a cassie, Bob Fano. Because ever to my party A and as party we because to my party to my party your becano or benye no be different thing crown can boa maybe potem now or no you say na ya da then but sit we never cause okay and Kagana maybe na me that me catch be san Kagana there party yes my party no ba no anya there the phone for yes to my party but to my party B. Papa, you know,
now would you won't to be now soon decided.
Oh, can decide. But
to be a voice back home. Obey me, obey opinion, obey me as you work. I say, Messume to Abana, yedi way bar power.
Okay, it's last 4 years that was 2020. Me to about Mount 7. We got to about. Me to about. That was last time I came to about 2020. Yeah, me too.
Okay.
But
what to about my wine?
Okay, so I voted for APP because of what your mom can't baby. But on by Munse no na Munse no more you different thing. Oh, I feel the me say NDC and as each other. Nana can be there come back.
MPP they won't.
Oh, that be that.
Emmanuel. Pacho also constituency hanauti.
Would have been maybe class war.
Uber class war. But okay, near Mayanka a code general. You're young people. Also, you're students. You're young people.
Okay.
What do you think about the governance of this country and that of the NPP and another down 25?
As for that, I would like to say when they come into power, what they say they will do, they don't do it. They do what they feel like is good for the country, but that's not the best. They should do what we want. That's why public opinion should be experienced.
Okay. What about you?
Yeah, as we voted for them, we are expected of them to do like what we want, not what they want. So as they come to power, they are expected to like do what the people of the state want, to improve the country.
Who did you vote for?
No, as for last 4 years, I was not eligible to vote.
So this year, same for you. So this year you are voting. You have registered. Who are you voting for?
I'll vote for John Mahama.
You vote for John Mahama. How about you?
I cannot tell.
Why? It's about 4 months to elections.
Because what they tell in the manifesto, that's not the same thing when they come to power they do. So I can ask for now, I cannot tell who I vote for.
But why would you vote for John Mahama?
I've liked John Mahama from the very beginning. Yeah.
What about him do you like?
Like the way he expresses himself about we Ghanaians and what he does for us. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for talking to us. Madam Mase, Bebre, Pacho, Mami, Pacho be joining me. Ba, Pacho also joining me. Pacho na efra saying.
Me dey fear.
If you what to say? Constituency hanauti.
Pacho.
Now what's na have for how long?
Oh, I had matter more than 24 years. Yeah.
24 years. In 24 years, no constituency, no who ne say.
Nkoye.
Who can say nkoye as such a thing?
Oh, nkoye because like Charlie, the nyama kone de one ye. O mine de one. Me how ne say. Recently, I'm say Shelly Beka say I'm kofo bebe Beka say I'm my Piota for no 500 Ghana. No more start business. What you say? Eno koda nche but nipa na ba nkofo ni bia ba mo se mo man 500 o ye MPP ni wo so be man 500 but mo hwe ID na mo se onto aba wa ha oto no Kumase oto no wa ha ni wa nipa na MPP ni o nti meaning just constituency ha say no de just Shelley ni pene de say ono no wa ha ni nti no wo to aba wa ha na obema o sa 500 no me ke so me ye na MPP fo meaning oyiyi mu onto aba wa ha dia na say oye de be favor no tie it's about say be mo say omo 500 ni say omo ye den omo onto aba no so wagio but also onto because what the omo ye ne de me hu ni say hu ni fa so mo cha de no mo say MPP for meji we nye business a ye na wo hwa de ne to Kumase kram ye MPP ni say me nye bi but mo tumi nka say me to aba wa ye to aba wa ha ye to aba wa but the opportunity about to about bio me to about no to bio because she nkoso wa ha ma got the other time so to bridge no I am my yiru ko for omo hwe omo ba on person ma 200 cedis ko to aba ma me delegate for na gigi 5k any fridge ni aja hye omo no wa be convince say me beto ma MPP ye to about but me beto ma MPP put me chairman ye koso ye nim dia o man na ekọ what you say
2020 to aba ma hwan manto aba obi be mam ska say me kwota kwara don kwoto me se me nto me ji skani di o ma o say
lorry fe man 200 Ghana say me kwota kwara don kwoto aba me se me nto me wa na me to aba aba me chen say me nto wa ha me to we because of MPP no say me ji skan kwoto but some kan chem say me ji skan ye business so what you say nti say about on the me meja about to ye nto aba bio me ka me kwa ka ballot box e be su amade a che mo obi an kwoto aba ba Ghana fo bi be so la ma cha kwoto aba obiane na adwe me abato de ehunya so beto aba
na wan to aba se wo omwa o man
na ka se obi ambo obi anti no obi antena so na obi anye bibia
so ye MPP ni tinka me ji so beto ama Dr. Baumia
oh obi anye papa MPP and so mu na anye correct
wo na wo ye MPP ni no
obi anye because say ano me see me to forms madam me to forms you see me height say
forms
for immigration ni police ni sanya manyama ni bi okwa yen sisi because ye ni mpenifo bi a ya be mom kakra mom de area muti no o ha ita say and anwa bebre
enti do say ne we share Kufuado ana said John Mahama na Dr. Baumia because me who say ya pa wo mu den na obeka trom ana den na opese omu ye ma o man na ebe ma weni age
madam e wo book mu say elang kwan no doctor Leno so antieku up to omunye yo utimi u de car na so ojo 5 cedis but kwan ni yenti no see 15 cedis elang kwan a che omunye elang memo elang taxi rank kwan no more than a che na Shelly na na so Shelly na na so na doctor buy omunye omukwan omunye
enti die na se nanado yema ko na ebe ma weni age a obekwa koto aba
onye kwan no omeye elang kwan no ene antieku kwan no omeye ni sesi a ya dwebe sisa baba to de jai tu because me de me to me ni de me ja bato cause me to ya me nya fa so
me da se me pacho ye feel say
from upon
constituency hanauti
for
how long
5 years but yes but it mean 2 about
unto about ha okay yes. What's na half for 5 years but constituency no who ni say
constituency no na me who say you hear gutters you hear some gutters at the same time no traffic you hear overpass main road no because of traffic edre edumanko any other you hear some man ketenkete na
okay even though I want to about ha no we Ghana ni na as Ghana ni no kono who ni say eko say
oh me to me no me MPP ni pa me jina me card ni na semboto me MPP ba me to me the chrono abanko obi nsore aban bi enu obeba me fia be ma aduane adi me ana me force no ma yere ma pe me aduane adi nti se me te wona me baba ka chem da o man ma yede a fine o man ma yede minim ni a wo pa kire so man ma yede because o man mu go na se me tifia me nidi ese me strike ansa na me didi nti o man mu na obeka chem se o man ma yede no me no me side me ntia sa na me nia ewa bang no ho a ha me kakra se taxes enyuma ni omanum de na individuals nso anya kakra wo mo so edi biema ebinum so ye no taxes no more eso hwe sa taxes no already so no na won so etimi kra ne oma no ema won a anya bi aye nso ye no won etimi twa yan kapa ne nso ade abobra pa de ato ama yan ba sa na me de
ti afiwe why na beto abama no
me de me some me wi aseda MPP an beto abama no
and this so mo ya de o ma anya de o
me some me wi aseda
eh ade
because no me MPP manya so mfa so me ameto me ya ban adwuma but mfa so menya ne say free education ku 4 time no or the health insurance buy me man ye bi da me ye ma me yore me papa me maame ena me nuanom ena mabusua nyina o mo benefit wo ho na do buy fine ne niam bebre me benefit wo biam but me ma 2 o secondary school me ntwa school fees enu ya ne me niam metoto da agya me makwan this year next month obakon so sanko eno so me ne niam na metoto me kai say me ba bia frame school da wo mo gi school fees ebe PTA went man kwa na utua 100 Ghana ukwa woni PTA dus bia ye den itua aha ntime de na metimeka MPP na metoma ba man
finally ma ye feel say
bacha me de ekua
na o to say
bacha me
constituency ha ya na uti
meti ha na metoma ba wo kwashibu bet ma betna and still I meto no kwashibu
ba me pese me bisa wo ko no ko say
oh is any day mu ayedin ade to ni ho ukotare no so na ade chi na ya tun sa henye men enkoso ye bet abano de uka se upeni bibia pepepa unya ne sa nti eda ni aye beto aba na me da metuma aba ma MPP me da me start to aba metuma aba ma MPP is that me wo me bapani 2008 me wo ye ne na akofo de doctor free buy na wo ana entua bibia sa me na me ba na premature ya de no kwahye machine invite na me koye na ankla me tua be say 5 million ansa na ye me bibia ma me de me ba na show but e do time say ye yinu no na ya de come and be 17 million me yes me go tua na e ka che me say kofo de free aba enti me 17 million no manfa entua me de ma de be fie be toto aduan de na I operation no so no me ntueska me ana me chair nurse ni bi 5 cedi ena me de be fie ena ze senso so no me san be hu free education say me ba peni na me hu 2008 no say oko school no so form 2 oko school no free no wakobi because nge mu ye den ka me ntimi mfa me ba no enko school because say me ku adwuma na ase ena me ankasa nso ade ton na me ton me ntimi ton ade metima tua me ton ade do 2 million kura on ntinu say nka me tua school fees obefie na me tua ena me say you chop money na me to provisions anka me ntimi ma me ba no enko first part na me nim say ansa na aba be ko school nji so wogima gina yi ansa na do ba be ko school but they say na me ba no tumi ko school a won tua hwe enti aba ne de meto na emum mantam akwan na ekwan na wa ha ne enye enti yese some MPP na was on yes o CC sa kwan because say o me fie wa kira ya but me free kuma say ba na me fa drop nya ayi say me ko fa bintu ansa na ma bewura me fie enti sanka ha ya metua be say 20 cedis na o de me free free here kwa obaji me 30 cedis obaga jem say kwan nya wo konwan ansa na o durfie bet me shaya enti kwan no de yes o me ko kuma say we say de anwea bi abegusu be kai 3 nti mpa mbon so mu ntimi nya kwan ansa na betodo na ekira he ya nso esku nkola ne fa ho pa wo mu doso but gata bi wo ho gata no penimu nam ho a eye hu pa bet nkola no 4 years 5 years na mu area o gata mitimi dam a dama nko echi ma betia no kum na nkola na to gata no wo ho enti de misren se de wo ha no no omla ekira ya fitafo bo tokro bi do ho na nkola no fa nkola no mu ko government ni nyina ho na ompa me betana nyame anim de bia na me yemu ahihye me mankola nti de wo na o ma ye dua bi ento so na nkola no ntumi emfa so because me de no wanyini me de opia o betima ko enso so yesa me ye obatan de eso obatan se de na me nti me pane cho gata mi na da he ya chi he ya nkola ni wuram ko government school e bi ko private every anopa be sis na nkola ni be fa so dodo na so na be hwe sa gata nkola fo me pla o nti mpa cho ho no omo ma hwe sa gata no omo nya dua bi nto so na nkola no emfa so nti abane de e koso be fa ye beto ya nto a ye ntimi nyini ya ye pe mane mba ye obi be ba be de bia na mempe ma nto nti ne na obi abedi me so nti abane de meto me da se ma pacho net to say
emi adum pacho mo so e
pacho ye fro say
e fro me sister ama pacho
constituency ha na oti
pacho an
nti wuto aba wa ha
na metu wo me krom ne sisi ama ya transfer aba ha
nti afi we why na wuto ama no
me to ma NDC
wuto ma NDC and then afi constituency ha since 1996 omi na wo muto ma MPP ada na wo de
MPP strong road na nyama bi koso na ya first na meto aba makufuo na sisi mbetana be say 24 years ni nsuo ta efanye MPP abatena so a bibia ni wo maaye nti ma sesa ma adwen se meto ama NDC sisi a mita bi omudi ababo ya de mita no bobo enya 1 month ya top light 400 month nso ye nti meto ama NDC
na wo GDS NDC ba
ebe omayade ku dwama ha ma kono na petrol yeah 14 cedi 50%. Sisi ya sen we be say drivers almost 75 we be say 80 into metro amendis
MPP de o disappointing
papa ye nu ye ho enye kufuo MPP ni asisi e wo su ye hu su wo kwata ade wo so meto provisions wo kwata ade wo so a wo tuaka me kwa aba wo ba na ye say ya atum nti ye nya fam I say we this can be so nti metro amendis
na said nana akufado pacho ba wenim kaka se nana akufado de okọ aka
nana aduna na owo so no nti meto amendisi
yo mpacho. So, Joshua, we're still here at the Ablekuma North constituency and we're engaging some of the constituents. Pacho, ma'am, Pacho, ba wenim kakra. Pacho, your friend say.
Christiana Dafo.
Ma Christiana. Now constituency Hanauti.
Bacha.
Now for how long?
More than 10 years.
More than 10 years. Now constituency it is same amount.
Constituency no dey. They say akwan na ehia ye. Ekwan na one way. We free so to mu besia kwa traffic wo mu saa. Anka ye bese so mu nyi akwan no. E mai wura ha obetimi apie ha na kyeresa. Aye ntemu amai. If you say we dey ekonenim, enti se wa anyere ho amobra no, anye obi na bebo ama. Ti ese na na so onyi akwan no mai na o mai ma no so nya adwuma nye. So omunya adwuma ya wo yo batan na ofi aja obakwa onya kakra de abro na so onya bi edi. Enti ese
na ma enti afiwe abatwe hwan na wo to ama no.
We dem MPP ana me wo.
The MPP ana wo. Yo ma me dase. Mpacho finally ma ye fra say
Mbacha me dey Esther Fabia.
Esther, Mbacha want to say na constituency Hana.
Mbacha Hana me wo.
Na what na have for how long?
Oh me dey be 4 years ne ba me to abawa.
O to abawa ha. Enti afi we why na o to?
Oh me dey MPP na.
MPP na.
Ko eno a.
Say you eno.
Eno a.
Eyo
eno a. Me ni nsanye bia eno a. Because the oba no nim de obe. Mahama ye hu na memu open. Mahama obe 4 years na no bedie. Me so obi anya hwe kura free senior high school nti me de menya bi me ni me fie nyina me sister kura nkola 5 na na do bai wo nyina le referee senior high school ene oko voter first voter oko ho se oko pa akola de na bet na won seconds ubenya but ene unya akola mpo fa na ntina won free senior high school nti unya akola miss wa ya aberwa da dem ye po bi atena na ncha ya yenya yenga na ya cheche yemu month enye school we ya ke yenya papa ama akola bet na obi nche nso ene wunya ntimi de ne ebe ye bia MPP na na maba no ebetum ehwa
pacho na we ma pacho ba we nim kakra ma me ye fra o say
Regina Mensah
Regina constituency Hana uti antieku okay na afi we why na wo to aba ma no
afi we me de mintu aba mo bia
aden
omo ba omo hyan bo na ya to amo omo wi a asede na so omo yema na omo yema ya antieku say bosses wo for drop ya osemenko ekwan no enye bridge na gwata no ebu oso omo ye omo nye ehun na de no so nke ye hwema ye bo amo osamosomo bo ye ni say ya ye ni obi a ye ne me kwan tuntum ade o munji bibi nkaka akra mo fan ye adwuma nti wo kra obenwu nsani pa we odwe me ho nti me sum ye da me ndwe me ho ye to abeno mo mu wie no mo kotena so wie a afi de no mo yin ba akwa ahyensa no mo ne omo yire no mo ne omo mponafo no omo chire nti afi we de me mebusuafo yin ade ya kasa ye nto abode ope no obetumi ato
na 2020 o to aba ma wan
aba no me to ma na ya nanado
na afi de untu mani
o de abi
se nanado on ba biom okọ
on ba biom kra de oba no so yasa kenka ya metonwi na se mejai kenke no na masa mechi abefa kenke na because kenke no ade wo hu ntina mase abafa no nti de ono preso oba betena so no sa akwanwa ne bibi ni wan ko preso oba san aba watra meche no meton kenke no mfaso ani so mejai na makoton kosu na wo ma na meja kosu na mase abeton kenke ni bi ma na je se kenke na ebuwa mi si kosu no to ma hu se bibi wo hu nti na o preso oba san aba no na ebusu afo no ma ba chile no nti mi de mi ni mebusu afo na yakasa ye nto aba because ebeto amomo fefefe na ye wiane na mokwan na emomombo no momo didi na o me na abia broso no omommo na ombo omo na ye ni bi ne na mokwan no ye na ye ni biri se be ye adwuma no omombo aye
medase. So Joshua, you've heard me engage some of the residents of this community. Some vote here, others do not vote here. But it's important to note that one of the biggest problems of the people in this constituency is their roads. Majority of the roads here are in more trouble, and that's what they all keep talking about. I know that I said from the beginning that this has predominantly been an NPP seat. The Global Info Analytics poll suggests that the seats may shift to the NDC, but there's 4% margin of error, meaning the seat is still open, the race is open. The NPP may win it or the NDC may win it. But from all the people that I've spoken to, majority of them still think that the NPP is likely to come to power. I'm going to bring in Ibrahim Al-Hassan now. I've been here with him. He's a producer for GH Today, and he's also the head of our political desk. Ibrahim, from the observations, the conversations that we have had with people, do you think that, the seat is likely to swing this time?
Well, you don't get that indication. Yes, there are concerns. People are disenchanted, and they voice that out in no uncertain terms. Right. But the conclusion they draw is that if they are to vote, they will still vote for the MPP. This area has been predominantly blue-colored, regardless of who comes as the parliamentary candidate. You can be rest assured that Kwasiman specifically in this area has always been NPP. So it doesn't come as a surprise. Again, you talk about the fact that there are many people who equally have concerns, but those concerns have been addressed by the fact that when the party went for its primaries, it decided not to retain the incumbent MP. And that's something that is positive for the party. So the baggage could not be carried on by the new parliamentary candidate, who is a former member of parliament. And so what's happening in this constituency is exactly what was happening at the national level. So we have former President Mahama, who has been a president before, is seeking a comeback. Now we have Nana Owusu Efri, who was the member of parliament who was dislodged by Sheila Bartels. She came back to dislodge Sheila Bartels, and she's seeking to take the seat back. And so that's it. In fact, I'm sure that will be your next question as to where are the candidates, the aspirants. Of course, we had gotten in touch with them. They had given us their commitment. In fact, just a few minutes ago, I was on phone with Nana Ekwefri, who is the NPP parliamentary candidate. Says she's on her way. But we work with time. And we had given the time for the starting of the program to be 8:30, and we were supposed to wrap up at 10. As it stands now, we are wrapping up. The NDC parliamentary candidate, I personally took the letter to the office. It was received. I got that commitment. But now what we are getting from the team is that the exhibition exercise is ongoing, and to them, that's very crucial. They need to ensure that people who have registered get their details checked and cross-checked in the register. But of course, the most important aspect of this conversation is
talking to the people, to the voters.
Exactly. And so watch out for us in your constituency very soon. Would you still in charge?
Of course. So yeah, as you heard my boss say, watch out for us. We'll be coming to your constituency next, and we'll be connecting with the voters. This is Voters Connect. I am Sewami here, and I've been here at the Kwasiman 37 building, and it's been a pleasure coming your way. Joshua, thank you very much. Over to you.